Yo, yo.
What up?
Hey, everyone.
We got our buddy David. I don't know if you want to use your last name or not.
That's fine.
I thought we were at that one point. Remember that one,
This is literally
one
the
point
first
back in the time
episode.
where we said we're like, we're going to use names?
Yeah, I remember that. You guys, sister number one, brother number two.
And
Yeah.
then it turned out to like Michelle, Kinga, Joanna.
Yeah, and then like 10 seconds later, like it was like 10 seconds. That was literally the first episode.
I was laughing at that one pretty well.
Anyways, we got David here. He's a buddy of ours for a long time. He's
dated our sister a long time ago, right?
yeah.
That's how we got to know each other. Yeah.
16, 15 years ago?
Remember when was that? That was like
2009 to...
Oh, dude, that was when we built the new house
Yeah.
Yeah.
in Burbank.
Those parties.
And those parties.
I know
Those were bangers.
Yeah, that was before I was 16 even. Because I remember that was when you still had your Jetta.
Oh, yeah.
With those always, bro.
With the what?
Transmission.
It had the wheels that would make you sound like you had an exhaust, like or like it made you sound like you had like an intake.
Oh,
in
the
it.
tires were so bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn.
You know.
It did have an intake, and you could hear the blow off a little bit. But
Yeah.
Those are the good old days.
It's
Those are the party days, dude. That's when
Burbank.
in Burbank, we built the house. We built a brand new house, and the house wasn't even finished yet. I threw the first I don't know if it was a birthday party for myself or it was just
No, I think it was just a big ass party. I remember because mom and dad found out.
bro. So
I wasn't there for that one, but there was like one every couple weeks. So.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, we partied often at the house, and then it got finished. Then we kept partying when the parents were gone.
Well, even when they were there, we had an unfinished basement, so like
Yeah,
there was really you couldn't really break much. You know?
there wasn't. Unless you wanted to break your face like somebody else did.
On the stairs.
Bro, we had a party one time at the house, and one of these guys he was like blasted, bro. And he was walking down the stairs, and he fucking tripped on the stairs and fell on his face.
Multiple
Tumble
times.
down?
Tumbling down,
Yeah.
dude. He cut his chin
Oh,
all the way through where he could stick her finger in out his mouth.
Yeah.
no
And
way.
half
Yeah.
and like half his teeth were all fucked up.
Yeah, see that's the danger of
What, do you
having
land
a
on
house
the door
parties.
handle that was right there? Or on the
No,
stairs?
he was just that fucked up.
Well,
that he just,
the stairs were unfinished, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you don't have rounded edges; those are just sharp
Yeah,
corners,
he got-
right? Yeah,
that was
dude. I
wild.
remember he landed on the ground, just face down, and then just like a small pool of blood.
Jeez.
Dude, my mom was right there too, and she's like, "Oh my god, somebody just died in my house, dude." Because he literally didn't move for like a minute or two. You know, he went to Poland and got all his teeth fixed, right?
Yeah, dude.
Got
He got
them-
stitches
got
and
them gold
everything.
Got them veneers, dude.
That's what you call them, veneers.
Veneers, dude. That ivory.
The ivory.
You're laughing, but I got the same thing.
Yeah.
Front three
yeah.
or...
Yeah, well, I mean, at least there's a solution to it nowadays,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, dude, you lost your teeth. You got no teeth, dude. You just walking around with 3 teeth missing.
You see, it's like Lucy right now. She's got like one of her front teeth missing. I don't know if you've seen her. She got like one of her teeth missing. It's funny, dude.
But listen, when you lose teeth, you can look very funny.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of people now getting those dentures. They can just get them for like the whole mouth. Do you ever see those clips on like Instagram or wherever where there's like ladies that have like no teeth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And then they put them in. They have a full mouth. It's
Yeah, like they have no makeup on, and then
I'm
they.
like, bro, that's
But they
scary.
take them out?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because nowadays you could get a whole like top or
Yeah,
bottom
yeah,
row with
yeah.
just like 3 implants.
They take out the whole teeth.
But you don't take them out.
It's like a grill minus the diamond.
They literally take them out. When they take them out, they got
Wow.
no teeth. They talk like this. They got this face like this.
Yeah.
It's scary shit.
Yeah, and they literally they start with like no makeup on and stuff, and then they like put the teeth in and they do all their makeup. They look like a normal person, like a cute girl or something, and you're like, and then you see like the before and after, you're like, you don't trust nobody. You don't trust nobody.
Fucking false advertisement, dude, right there.
That's the definition of a false,
Yeah.
false advertisement.
But those parties are fun, yeah. The first party we ever had at that house was, I think we had 120 people in the basement.
You kidding?
Yeah, dude. The house was still like rough construction, so it was there.
Yeah.
It
The
just
cops
was
didn't show
nothing. No, the cops didn't show up. No, they drove by one time, but everybody was too hammered to kind of pay attention to it, and they didn't do anything.
I remember I remember because we used to sleep there before it was even finished, right?
Not before the permits were...
Well,
Yeah.
Well, we sold the house. Well, you first, but then all of us moved eventually because we sold the house and the house.
But at that point,
yet.
it was already
like
enclosed.
80%. Yeah, it was already like 80% done, right? I remember, dude, me and my friends would just go to the house and we just play hide and seek everywhere because there was no furniture or nothing, dude. I remember my buddy Mikey, who's always like the shortest one of the group, even when we were like, he's probably still short, but he like hid
probably
inside.
still short.
He hid inside the dryer.
Didn't grow much?
He hid inside the dryer. Well, it was the one that I don't know. You guys remember Mark, the one that lived down the street? Yeah, his little brother.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Mikey.
Yeah,
who Mark
Yeah, he
and
was-
Mikey are both short,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, those were the good old days. That's when house parties were house parties. Dude. I mean, people still have house parties nowadays. I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
if
It's not
there's
the
the same.
It's not the
I
same.
I don't know if
know.
it's the same anymore. You know what I mean? Not a cop show up, brother, but I got arrested one time at a house party. That was fucking stupid.
At your
But-
place or somewhere else?
Nah, somewhere else.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was too many people and there was just no way to escape. They literally fucking surrounded the house with like 20 squad cars.
Nowhere
Dude.
to hide?
Dude, I jumped. We jumped. People jumped the fences.
Oh,
Guys
shit.
walked out like they were part of the DJ crew, like walking out, like carrying equipment. Like,
Our job's done?
yeah. I'm just here as a DJ. You know, DJ's already hammered somewhere else, dude.
Yeah.
He's the one who got stuck. All the people walked out with his equipment.
Oh.
They probably just left it somewhere. And
They just threw it in the car and they drove off,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Dude, we got. There's like 40 people who got a citation, and we all had to show up at court in a city. I think this was Oak Lawn, and so one day, you know, we all got together.
40 people.
Dude,
showed
bro,
up in the
it was
courtroom.
crazy. Listen, this
So 40 people got
funny
arrested?
ass story. We got arrested, but then they let us go. But
Okay.
they wrote citations for everybody.
And a court
We were
date.
all like 18,
Oh.
so we were all underage drinking. Everybody, you know, like I said, most of the people were hammered. They didn't even know they even got a citation. It was stuck in their fucking pocket. Literally,
Came out in the laundry?
they came out in the morning. They're like, "What the? What is this? Holy!" But so we had to go to court, and so we show up to this court. It's like a city hearing, whatever court.
Yeah.
And we're gather up, and there's like 40 people in the corner, just hanging out. And
Somebody whips out a bottle.
and no, and then and then
Tips
on
them
the other side of the hall was a group of like 15 people, right? So another party that got busted.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. And so the judge calls us up and he says, "I'm looking for this guy and this guy, right?" And this is from the other party. So the other party comes up and he's like, this and this, and you guys gotta do AA classes, and you gotta do this. You gotta do some. What do you gotta do when you get
Community service?
Community service. So we had to do community service, and then we all got hit with one AA class. Like we all had to go AA classes. A bunch of 18-year-olds in the AA class, dude.
That
So
must've been
they go
fun.
up there, they call him up there. He's giving this speech or whatever. He's talking to them, and then he calls up one of our people, and he's like, "Whenever I call one person, just the whole group come up." And 40 people walk up to the stand, and he's like, "Well, shit, this must have been a hell of a party." Way bigger than the other party, that's for sure. I'm like, there was a lot
Not
more
even
of
half,
us.
yeah.
There was a lot more of us. Except Alex, a lot of them got escaped. You know what I mean? And so we were just joking and laughing around. But the judge was cool, but he had to give us something. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, one day of AA classes for like fucking 4 hours.
That's cool.
And
he had a
then
good attitude at least.
Community service. If you had a good attitude, you wouldn't give us nothing. Dude.
Well, he wasn't mean at least. He
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. He could have made it worse.
Yeah.
had
said
to
if-
do something because
if-
someone would complain probably.
He said that if we didn't show up to the AA meetings, then we'd have problems. you know?
Yeah. Because you can get 0 tolerance at that point. Even if you're not driving, you get 0 tolerance under 21.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what he told us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you get your license suspended for 6 months. That
even
happened
though
to
you're not
Joanna.
driving.
Joanna, yeah, my sister,
Yeah, when she was away at school.
our sister.
Yeah. when she was away at school.
Sister number one?
Yeah, when she was at Western, she was partying, and I guess she got
Oh yeah, she
Yeah.
was. Where did she go?
Western.
She went to Western. Yeah,
before she transferred back, right?
yeah. She didn't have a license for a while.
Rob drove around everywhere. dude.
Jesus Christ, Joanna.
That's why she moved back.
Yeah, those are the good old days. Those are fun. You know, that's when the house parties were house parties.
Yeah.
You know, people had their flip phones at the time, dude. They had no internet, nothing like that, dude. It was fun, but you know, times come and go. I mean, I'm sure they still house party today, just not as
Yeah,
Maybe a little
not as
different.
rush, like as much of a ruckus as it was back in the day. You know.
yeah. I think the last one I remember seeing was still in the old house. Our neighbors had one. The parents were in Poland, and Monica threw a party.
Oh, across the street.
Yeah, and Monica threw a party, and I'm like laying in bed, and I'm like, I didn't care about the party until somebody in a goddamn Subaru kept driving around the block, like
because they
eight-
were looking forward to the house, probably.
No, they were showing off.
Ah.
Oh.
And so around the block like 8 times. And mind you, I'm starting a new job like the next day because this was on like a Sunday. They were probably like summer break or something. And I don't really like I said, I didn't care about the party. I messaged mine. I'm like, if this kid keeps fucking driving around the block, dude, I'm like, he's not gonna have tires in the morning.
That's funny.
But that's like the last time I remember like
We
an
had
actual
in our
house party.
neighborhood at the new house. We had a lot of people that had house parties. We had house parties down the street at your buddy's place. There were house parties sometimes.
at the subscription. Yeah.
what's her name had house parties all the time. So Susie
Susie,
behind the neighbor,
Yeah.
neighbor behind
the
us.
Arnolds had
The
parties.
Arnolds had house parties. Yeah.
Andy, because he lives where Cachapacha lives now. He had parties all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
That's the ones like I would always go
that
to.
whole neighborhood
It was like
was
a
just
party
house
block.
party. Dude, it was like a 3-block radius
Yeah.
of house parties.
You
dude.
you could walk to parties and back.
You
right?
were almost at a party. If you wanted to, you could be at a house party in that area probably like every other week
yeah.
Nice.
because we did them often. They were fun, you know. Those are the times. Dude. There was high school, dude. It was a blast.
In the tassel, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Times are definitely different, but but it is what it is, right? Now we're here. Now we're older
Yep.
and more wise. I think.
We'll see.
Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see. Well, I mean, I'm married. I got 2 kids. You're married. Now you're having a kid on the way, right? So
Yep.
congratulations.
Thank
Oh,
you.
congratulations.
And
Thanks.
Marcin's still over here trying to figure it out.
He's the youngest, so he's
I
got
don't
time.
party as much as I used to, but
Yeah, I know.
actually, I really my girlfriend was just complaining. She's like, "Why don't we go out?" I'm like, "Cause I'm old."
Damn.
I was talking to Michelle. She said, "Would you guys want to go downtown for my birthday?"
Oh yeah.
And she's like, "Cause that's the only time Paul will go downtown because he hates downtown." I'm like, "Yeah, me too."
Seems like there was a trend at one point where everybody would just want to go downtown.
Dude.
I never wanted to go downtown.
Okay,
And
so
that was never
after
my
our-
thing either.
After our whole house parties, the next evolution to that
Clubs?
was party buses.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, party
trolleys
buses
stuff.
and trolleys. Holy
But
shit.
you got engaged on a party bus.
Yeah, I did. Well, was it on a party?
Yeah, yeah.
We were on a party bus and then we went downtown to
Yeah.
by the museum. Or
Yeah, it was the museum. That's where.
Oh, by the
shit, yeah.
planetarium?
Yeah,
You don't
but-
remember, Paul?
I remember.
Just don't
I
ask him
remember.
when.
I almost remember I got hammered at that night.
Yeah, I remember.
Afterwards, and then we stopped at like a McDonald's in the hood,
Yeah,
and I was
It
walking
it
around
was
with
like,
like a fucking box of Tim Bark.
yeah, it was right off of like it was like off of 55
And Cicero, dude.
No, it wasn't even Cicero.
Yeah, it
It was like
was.
Damon, dude.
Oh, boy.
Was it? It was
Yeah.
hood.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys
yeah.
made it back, though.
I was like the whitest guy. I was standing outside, and I'm like, whatever.
Everybody was just taking a piss everywhere.
Yeah,
like everybody
dude.
had to go to the bathroom.
Those are the days, dude. Those party buses made a shit ton of money that time.
Oh, I bet.
In those times, and those damn trolleys, dude. The trolleys were fun too.
Hey, somebody down the street is selling theirs. The one down Parker,
Selling what?
their trolley. You know, if you drive down Parker, there's a corner house
It's
on the
that
right.
way.
Yeah, that way.
I'm
No, but
like,
the
I'm
camera
pretty sure
doesn't know
Parker
which
doesn't go that way.
direction. The camera
Well,
doesn't know which
I
direction.
don't know which way you're pointing. You're pointing Parker that way, dude.
All right, north. If you go north on Parker,
Behind the S turn.
after
On
the
stop
S
sign?
turn, that
There's
guy,
a shitty little trolley there.
it's for sale.
Is it?
Yeah,
Sounds like a business opportunity.
I've seen it on Facebook Marketplace. It's been there for like 6
Hook up your
months.
trailer to the trolley. Take the party wherever you want to go.
That is a really a mobile bar.
Yeah, 100%. You're definitely gonna need a lot of licenses for
I'm
that
just gonna
shit.
have a tube from one trailer to the next.
like those
conveyor.
2-piece trailer, not 2-piece trailers, the 2-piece buses, the ones that fold.
Oh, yeah.
They had like the harmonica in the middle, whatever the hell you want to call it, dude. I don't know what you call it. The
harmonica, bro. Harmonica is the thing you blow
Accordion,
into.
I'm talking about
Accordion.
harmonia, accordion. That's what. Not
Where it
harmonica.
bends
fuck.
halfway.
Yeah, accordion. Yeah, I haven't seen those buses,
Dude,
though.
I took
No?
one. I was
Or maybe I was
downtown.
Yeah, well, that's probably why.
Yeah.
airports too. I remember I was when I flew to Boston like not so long ago for work. I was on one and I'm watching the floor.
Standing in it.
Yeah, I'm watching the floor. I'm like, what if I stand in the middle? What happens?
I was
You
on
make a
one of those.
split.
Huh?
You make a split.
I was on one of those a long time ago, but I don't remember if they were like connected in the middle inside.
Yeah. The
They
floor.
had like a platform, right?
I think there's probably like a square where that doesn't move. And
Yeah,
everything-
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So
There-
you're
it's
not-
round. It's round,
Okay.
and then it turns around.
You're not in
okay?
danger of, because there'll be lawsuits.
I mean, somebody would lose the leg on purpose for.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in Boston. When I was flying back, I was going through TSA.
Good thing your plane didn't crash.
We'll get to that. I remember I was in TSA and the person's like looking through my bag like, anything sharp and dangerous? I'm like, what the fuck? I asked them 3 times to repeat themselves. I'm like, oh, sharp and dangerous. I'm like, no, like nothing there, dude. They're just like sharp and dangerous. I'm like, what?
That was the Boston accent?
That's the Boston accent.
Imagine
That's-
living in
that's
West
my
Virginia.
Boston accent, but
I've been there before. I talk to those people all the time.
West Virginia?
I've been in West Virginia. I actually like West Virginia, but that's a shithole.
It is.
Unfortunately.
my coworker moved
it's
there.
a beautiful state.
It is, yeah.
It's poor.
It's very poor.
Very. It's, I think,
And-
one of the poorest in the country.
Yeah. How are the people there? They're nice.
They're nice, but
But they like to keep to themselves.
Yeah,
yeah.
my buddy.
They like their guns.
They like
Yeah.
their guns. Yeah. I stopped in is it Huntington?
That's where I was at.
Yeah, Huntington.
You were there?
I was there it was a long time ago. I was picking up a car. I don't know where. I don't know where the hell I went. When I stopped
Ohio
there,
River?
it was like in the middle of the night. was like freaking 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. I'm gonna stop at this bar. I'm gonna watch the game. I think it was NHL playoffs or something like
Beat
that.
your ass.
If you were in the
I
city, you were
walked it-
fine, but
It was like the outskirts of the city, but it was close enough where it was still Huntington.
yeah.
I walked in, bro. They knew right off the bat I wasn't from there. I walked to
Because
the
they didn't know
door.
you.
I walked to the door. It wasn't like a biker bar. It was like a bar, like a
Yeah.
like a
Local.
Like a
Just
hole in a
probably-
wall. Like a hole in a wall.
I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, sure.
Okay.
And
Rundown.
I walk
favorite
in,
bars.
and the second I walked in, dude, they're like,
Hi, and you, who's this guy?
"Who the fuck is this guy? Where is
Yeah.
he from?" And then when I started talking to the bartender, even worse, because I have an accent.
Yeah.
And
You have a Midwest accent.
yeah, and they're looking at me like, "This boy ain't from here."
Where you from? What are you doing here?
I'm here for the game, man. That's all. I'm just gonna eat. I'm gonna watch the game. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
As fast as possible.
I was like, maybe I'll just park in the parking lot and just sleep the night and then just drive. Nope. I got in the fucking car and I drove away.
Yeah, my coworker moved out there. He bought a house. Dude, he bought a house for like 150,000, if not less. He's got like 30 acres. He has a house and with an apartment attached to it, like a separate
Yeah,
living
yeah.
space.
And I bet his property taxes are like $1,000 a year.
Probably. I mean, he's 30
It's
minutes
cheap.
out from a neighbor, but you know,
I mean,
he's literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a nice place to be. I'd live there.
Dude,
I wouldn't know if
peace
we'd be
and quiet.
podcasting every week, but
you'll get internet.
Every day, dude. You don't have anything else.
we
to-
get Starlink. We'd be all right, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of West Virginia, you were out there for a while, right?
Yeah, I was there for three years. And actually, Huntington, where you're at and where I was at, is there was an opioid pandemic that was hot.
Um,
That
And that
makes
was the worst city in the country per capita, I guess. I didn't see it personally, but people were always telling me, like, if you look around the sidewalks in the city, there's needles everywhere. People were overdosing. Like, having
I heard the same
Narcan,
thing.
like a normal citizen having Narcan in their car was a normal thing because they would see people pass out and try to save them.
damn.
My
No
manager,
shit.
my manager saved like 2 people like that. Yeah, it's just poverty, no work. They closed all the coal mines,
Yeah, because West Virginia
Railway,
was mostly
that was-
coal mines,
railroads.
some steel. I know they did some
Yep.
steel over there,
Yeah.
not much, but some steel. Yeah, it's
So
just
there's a movie about it, and it was filmed right in that town.
It
It's
was
called
it-
Heroin.
is that what it's called?
Yeah, with an E at the end. I think it's on.
Heroin.
Yeah.
Hermione.
But yeah, I mean, I drove through there. It's a nice state. It was just you
it's
can
pretty.
tell it's
It's
poor.
scenic. Yeah,
It's poor.
especially if you go out of the towns and go into they call them the hollers.
Yeah, I heard of that term before.
When
Yeah,
you go out into the hollers, that's where it's kind
with
of
the Goonies and shit.
Uh-huh.
Right? Where you would we're driving on dirt road. And
I mean,
then
there's little ghost towns because everyone moved out years ago, and it's just all run down. You
Yeah,
pass
I
by
mean,
those.
no work. What
I
are you gonna
wonder
do,
how they
right?
can. I wonder if they can ever rejuvenate that area. Like how they can make
Companies would have to move in there.
yeah, but it's like
There's
yeah,
not much industry.
there's not much industry.
Some
and
tech
then,
companies
and then the people
come
that
in. Amazon had like a call center there.
yeah.
There's hospitals and college, I guess, is where the locals
Yeah.
get their money from.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, but it's like if you think about it, it's like the population probably is not also very well educated, so there might be more
have- they have
manual labor,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like mining coal is freaking manual labor job. I mean, it's
Yeah,
as manual labor
right.
as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
And if they cut that, if they destroyed those industries, destroyed. I mean, they closed them down, right?
Yeah.
And then, which then makes you think, where the hell does the coal in America come from? Then does it come from
Hmm.
America or does it come from outside America?
I don't know. Who has it? Canada?
Canada has a lot of gas. No, Canada has a lot of oil. America has a lot of oil and natural gas. Coal, I don't know. I would say because mining coal, I think is a pretty dirty business.
Yeah. But,
You know?
I mean, there's so many thousands of tons of it every day. Like when you see I saw those freight trains full of coal. I'm like, where are they coming from? They actually had depots.
10
in-
countries.
10 countries?
Yeah, so it's just they import it because it's cheaper. It's just cheaper to import from somewhere else.
I'm sure they still they mine it here.
Yeah.
Because the
They
train
do.
the trains would bring it out of the hollers.
Yeah, it says it's only about 1% of U.S. coal consumption. How much they import? Colombia, 66% of coal
Canada.
imports.
Wait, what does it say? In 2023, the U.S. imported approximately 4 million short tons of coal from about 10 countries. This marked a
It's
decrease.
a long ton.
That was marked maybe one of those fucking train things. Dude. This marked a decrease from 2022 when imported total was around 6.3 million short tons, which was about 1% of U.S. coal consumption. So only 1%.
It's imported.
What the hell? Then where the hell's the rest of it coming from? Is it West Virginia?
It's got to be from over there. I mean, whenever I flew over, you could see they do. I think it's all like
Open pit?
Yeah, yeah. There's just piles of dirt, black dirt. That's probably the
Black gold.
yeah.
Yeah.
What does Trump call it?
Isn't that?
No, it's like, what does he say? Like sweet clean gold. Oh no, he's like
I know what you're
He's
trying
like,
to say,
sweet,
but I can't.
clean coal or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, we have a crap ton of coal in America, right? So we should use it. Yes, coal is not the most cleanest way of creating energy, but I'm sure if somebody actually wanted to, and I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure there's a lot of roadblocks along the way to create clean coal burning,
Probably.
efficient
yeah.
filters, efficiency, stuff like that, right?
That's
Better.
it's like a motor, right? A motor is
And
how
probably
much
make
per-
some stuff out of byproduct too.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they use the ash from coal to make fertilizer and crap like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so I'm sure there's it's just
I mean, but how many different things are like that? An engine is what percent efficient? 40?
that's a good question. I don't really know how efficient it is.
I know.
I don't think it's
And what
40.
kind
I
of
think
engine though? Diesel, gas?
diesel I think is more efficient than gasoline.
As far as what it burns and turns into energy?
Let's
instead of
find out
going-
right now, dude. Let's see how efficient are gas engines. The efficiency of
Tw-
gas engine typically referred to internal
20 to
combustion.
30%.
About 20% energy from the gas engine is converted to useful work. The rest is lost as heat. That makes
That's
sense.
not much.
Advancing technologies like turbocharging, direct injection, and variable valve timing can improve efficiency up to 35% in some newer engines.
It's pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
That is pretty crazy if you think about it.
You thought it'd be more, right?
Natural gas, 30 to
engines.
40%.
Okay, so that's a little bit more. That's why you have natural gas power plants.
Diesel, 30 to 40.
You know how many natural gas cars are in Europe?
Oh, shit ton.
I remember when I came to America and I told, like in school, I was younger, but we were talking about something about energy, and I was like, why don't cars natural, LPG?
Yeah.
And they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's normal.
Yeah, LNG, liquefied natural gas, is
Well,
what
LNG
usually,
here,
or
but
LPG,
in
which
Europe.
is liquefied propane gas.
And then they use CNG now here for trucks.
Yeah, compressed
Semis.
natural gas. Yeah.
I like how it shows 85 to 90 for EVs, but we all know that that's fake.
How much
Well-
goes in the coal?
Okay, yeah, from what's in the car.
Yeah.
But the power that needs to get to the cars
Well,
From
wha-
the-
how
is
is
what?
it, how
is
is
coal.
it actually?
It's coal.
Well, I'm pretty sure the American, in terms of production of energy with coal is pretty low now. I want to say it's 20%. Maybe I'm off on that. Look that up real quick. I'm curious myself.
How much energy is derived from coal?
How much energy in the U.S. is from coal? How much energy
Coal power
is
plants?
in the U.S.? We're gonna call it. What are we gonna call Canada? It's the 51st state. What are we gonna call it?
They get to keep their name.
Okay.
Will be nice. 9%.
Okay, so as of 2023, coal accounted for approximately 9% of total U.S. primary energy consumption, reflecting a significant decline from previous decades. That makes sense why, obviously, coal mining in West Virginia probably decreased as well because the consumption went down, right? I mean, what else do you use coal for besides the woods, like a stove, which most people don't even have a stove anymore.
No.
You
It's
know?
mostly power plants, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would think, right? So
Or maybe steel factories for their
for their
ovens or whatever they call
what do they
them.
call those? Man, that's,
Burners?
No, it's gonna
Furnaces?
Yeah.
furnaces, but there's I think a specific word for that. I want to say broilers, but I'm pretty sure those are fucking chickens, dude.
You mean boilers?
Boilers.
No,
That's
boilers
for
I know.
water.
Boilers I know. Yeah, smelters. Is smelters?
Yeah, that might be it.
Smelters. Yeah.
I've heard that before.
So, but tell us. So tell us why were you in West Virginia? What were you doing in West Virginia, dude?
So that was my first job in my career. I'm an air traffic controller. And after the
Is it
academy,
ATC for short?
ATC, yep. ATC. And after the academy, I got placed. I had a few options of where to go to. And I picked West Virginia out of a few reasons, but it was closer to home, and that's where I got placed. So I went there, started training. That was my first facility, first airport where I got my certifications, and I guess I got my wings, if you say, in the field. So I lived there for 3 years, and I tried to make the best of it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's-
yeah.
I tried to,
How was it expensive to live there? No, right?
No, very cheap. I
Yeah.
mean, to compare, I had coming from Chicagoland area, I guess a regular house, 3-bedroom garage, 2-car garage, whatever, sold over there for about $100K, and $800 was the yearly property tax, which was like, I was laughing. I'm like, really? That's cheap. I kind of
It is
regret
cheap,
I didn't buy anything back then, and
Well,
for 3 years.
I mean, you don't know really.
Yeah, I didn't know.
What's
and
gonna happen, right?
The other thing is, I was hoping I'd come back home sooner because
Yeah.
it's a transfer program that we have to kind of wait on, and it's not like a normal job where you want to change jobs. You go to the place, fill out an application, and wait until they call you. It's kind of a different system. So
Was it a busy airport? Not really.
no,
Yeah, really. So that was at least it was easy to manage. It's probably just boring.
Yeah, it was boring, but it was good because it gave you the basics. The academy has the training we go through initially, where they decide if or that you get hired or don't make it. It's on a higher level because they teach you. They try to test to see if you can. It's based on comprehending a lot in a short amount of time and then seeing how you can apply it. And if you could,
That's what I heard. So talk about that, the comprehending part. Like I understand, like you're up to. Let's just say that was your training. That was the beginning. Now you're ATC where?
I'm at O'Hare.
So that's a.
We're the busiest airport in the country again.
Is it?
Well, it depends. There's different metrics.
Yeah,
but
different metrics. for
by
sure.
the volume of airplanes, we're back up. We always were with Atlanta, Hartsfield.
I think
They were number one for a few years
Yeah.
because O'Hare's been going on through construction for the past.
How
15.
is that going along? Are they close to being done or not?
Is anything in
Well,
Chicago regarding construction ever close
It's
to being
winter
done?
in construction. Well, we got all the runways are done. We got the most runways I think in the world. Don't
really?
quote me on that, but it's 8 runways that we have.
Oh no shit.
And that's done. Now they're building new terminals. United's expanding. They're going west. It's a whole revamp, but it takes a lot.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of money we're
to
talking
keep
about.
up the capacity and keep the airport going and they just close different parts of it, make it a little harder. It's like driving down the roads or highways,
Yeah.
You get traffic
294.
jams. Yeah.
Yeah. So then
That
tell
thing
me
looks like it's about to be done though.
what?
Yeah, okay.
What?
All right, 294. Yeah.
And
That'll be the day.
and 290.
Yeah.
It's been like 5 years.
I mean, I think it was a 5-year project or something like
Yeah.
that, or 10-year project.
No, it was 10 years, like 5 billion.
Yeah, it was a big ass project for sure. And all they did is just raise the tolls and we're
Yeah.
good to go, dude, which were only supposed to be temporary.
Yeah, temporary tolls.
temporary
Yeah.
tolls.
60 years ago?
Yeah, 60 years ago. Yeah, I don't know if it was 60 years ago, but in the last couple of decades for sure. And it's only temporary,
Yeah.
and then they never left.
Remember those old change machines?
Oh, those
Oh,
are the
quarters?
best. Holy shit. I forgot about those.
There was
The
one time
big
they
ass
stopped
bin.
accepting-
The big bin.
ass bin. And,
Yeah.
just-
And then if you
and then you missed the nickel, dude. And
You're
then
like,
you
"Come
had
on,
to
open."
and then sometimes if you waited too long to put the nickel in, it
Yeah.
would just reset,
Yeah,
and then you
yeah,
just throw
yeah.
another fucking dollar in there, whatever it was. Man, I got caught up in that so many times.
You know what's
dude.
crazy? The traffic still is bad even without those.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, right? Well, that just means that there's more cars on the road.
Before, you used to back up right before the tolls.
Yeah.
And then-
Yeah,
Right.
I remember
right,
those
right,
days.
right.
Yeah,
Remember
They
the time
used to be crazy.
they stopped accepting pennies? And that was like a big deal because people
Yes.
would just throw like handfuls of pennies and
that-
just hopefully
yeah.
it was enough.
And then
the machines
then,
there.
and then they would. Then they stopped having people there because they used to sometimes
That
be
stopped
people.
at COVID, I think.
No, it was before that.
That was before that.
Well before that.
Yeah,
Okay.
they only had like one attendant on duty at one time.
Oh,
For
okay.
like that was like
For
the
like a long
that was like
time.
the last leg of it,
Yeah.
right? And now most of those roads are closed.
Yeah,
Like the
the side where you pull off to the where you
Yeah, they
get
marked
off.
them off for.
yeah, I mean what 95th you go on to 294.
It's all
heading-
digital.
Well, no, but if you're heading
They
towards
mostly kept
Indiana,
one lane open.
Yeah,
Like-
that's great, but
Yeah.
they
What?
have one lane open and one lane's completely closed,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. But anyway, regardless, before we'll go get that far. So now you're over at O'Hare. So you went from one of the slowest places.
To one of the busiest.
I had it in between to kind of get me up to speed, but yeah. To reference that, I guess in West Virginia we had 10 scheduled flights a day. It was like 3 American regional planes coming in from Charlotte. It was one connecting airport. So if I wanted to fly home, I had to connect to Charlotte and then come back to Chicago or something like that.
Really?
FedEx had a base there, so they had one Boeing 757 that they flew out twice a day, and then a few little like those single airplanes that did FedEx courier jobs and like LabQuest I think did for lab or what's that drug testing facility, Quest Diagnostics.
Oh,
yeah,
Quest Diagnostics.
yeah.
Yeah,
Since there's so many hospitals in there,
Yeah.
they would fly in every night. And after that, it was just regular like corporate jets, whoever had meetings or whatever, or students learning to fly, and that was it. So it was pretty slow. Mostly, kind of show up to work.
Did you fly a lot when you were there?
I did a little bit more than now, I guess. There was a flight school there. It was a lot cheaper than here. So as soon as I finished training on the job, I was like, okay, let's get back to flying because I like it, I enjoy it, and I wanted to kind of see the area. Where I was in West Virginia, it was a tower and a radar control, so it was a combined facility. I did both. I worked downstairs in like the not circular anymore, but the radar scope when you
Right.
each airplane's just like a little dot on the screen.
yeah.
So I worked that, and then we alternated. And then the other time, I'd go upstairs and worked in the tower and just look out the window. We had one runway, so
Yeah.
on top of the hill too. So
So you've seen everything.
So
Yep.
Literally.
So you went from 10 daily flights to how many?
Right now, we're currently reaching the peak summer volume, but it's 2,500 operations. So that's 1,250 airplanes per day
Holy
is
shit.
what we go through.
How many people work up there?
At a given point, anywhere around 10 people. So it's not like one person works the whole airport because it's
Yeah.
ginormous. I don't know if you see, but there's 3 towers.
Yeah, I seen that there's 3 towers.
Where I think we're the only airport in the U.S. that has, no, maybe not the only one, but we have three different towers that were on one airport, because the only reason why they built the outer towers is because the new runways that they added, that's by 90 and by Irving Park,
Okay.
you can't see the full thing from
Yeah,
the
I
main
seen
tower.
that tower. Yeah, I seen
Yeah.
that tower. That's a new one, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah. If we can't see the whole runway, then we can't use it technically. So they had to.
Mm.
How's the communication between those, like between the towers? Like, does it get like hectic when there's a lot?
No. It's all charted, I guess. And we have procedures. So
Mm-hmm.
technically, that one tower just works that one runway,
Oh, okay.
and the main tower works the whole airport.
Because you can have multiple airplanes at the same run, like flying out at the same time.
So usually we land
Yeah.
3 at a time, 3
Right,
runways,
right,
and we
right.
and we depart 2 runways at a time. So
Okay.
that's how we. I mean, we have our peak rush hours usually around 6 p.m. That's about 100 couple airplanes arrive, and another 100 depart at the same from 6 to 7 p.m.
No shit.
So that's
Yeah.
200 airplanes.
When you fly to
We've
Poland, I
been
think it's
through-
7 o'clock because I think when most of us.
That's
7
the worst.
o'clock,
Yeah.
most of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7 and 10 now in the summertime.
That's interesting. I guess.
But it is a leap. I
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
expecting.
Wait, did you go anywhere between? You said you.
Yeah, I went to Aurora. So my
Oh,
ticket
okay.
back home, I guess, was Aurora Airport. That's a little bit bigger than West Virginia. I had 2 crossing runways and more traffic, because there was a few flight schools and closer to Chicago. So
Yeah. Yeah.
corporate jets.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
And then from there, what? So then you just.
So I showed up at Aurora after waiting my time to transfer. And every time you change airports, you have to start training all over again. It's
yeah,
like,
because you're a different.
it's a different airport,
Yeah.
different airspace, different procedures, different everything. So, and funny enough, when I came from West Virginia, people are like, "Oh, you're experienced, so it should be quick." And I talked to one of my children, I'm like, "Hey, bro, I was in West Virginia. We had no traffic. The last time where I worked a few airplanes in, like, it's called a pattern, which is they fly around in circles,
Mhm.
land, and they practice landing. I was like, that was in the academy in Oklahoma City. So just spare the time and teach me again. It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So that's good. I mean, that's probably the right way to do
otherwise,
it,
I would
right?
start training. They'll be looking at me like, dude,
Don't you know?
yeah, what are
Don't
you doing?
know? What are you doing? What are you
You
doing?
got
Why
3
do-
years
Why are
experience?
planes falling out of the sky? You know?
What are you doing?
No, okay.
So
David, why are planes falling out of the sky?
Well, we'll get to that. We'll find out soon.
Let's leave that for the end.
Yeah. So
Keep the suspense going.
so you were in Aurora, you trained there, and then what? And then how did you get over here?
So I certified, and then I applied for the transfer program. You just filed paperwork, and you kind of pick where you want to go, and then it's kind of
Just a waiting
it's
game.
kind of like a lottery, but not. It's just, it has to be a perfect match. So if you're trying to leave a facility, it has to have enough controllers that are supposed to be there for you to be released, so they can let you go. But then the facility that you're trying to get to has to have not enough people, or they need people, and then it kind of has to like align perfectly.
Yeah.
And when I got lucky. I mean, I just checked out. I was there only for a year. As soon as I don't know, a few months later, I got the paperwork, and then I just waited 3 months and jumped over.
So
But it was a big challenge, I would say.
yeah. So now that you're in O'Hare, can you be transferred out?
Uh,
Was that unless you
unwillingly?
requ-
No.
Like, yeah, unwillingly.
No.
Yeah.
It's all
'Cause can they kind of like come in and be like, "Hey, you
We
got
need
2
you-
months and you're going somewhere else"?
no. It's
Hey.
all
Can Doge come in and say, "Hey, we gotta get rid of half these guys that are in here"? Or what? Is that how that works? Because
no.
we've been hearing all kinds of stories about that shit.
that
where-
didn't affect us.
No, so really, because that's what I wanted to ask you about.
Maybe some back office people, but not the main line.
Yeah, well, that's one of the
Because
things I
they're doing
wanted to
their
ask.
job.
Yeah, well,
Well, we're short staffed for the past 10 years as a nation.
so how's well? See,
We're
is-
supposed
is-
to, based on the bare minimums for each airport in the country that's operated by the government, as far as air traffic control, we should have probably above 14,000 controllers. Right
And how
now
much
we're
do
at
we have?
10 and a half maybe.
So we're short
And
about
it's on a
3,500.
downward trend.
Interesting. Because
I
then
mean-
then the whole situation comes up where where Trump came in and he said or not he said, but that people are saying that because of him, FAA lost a bunch of employees and stuff like that. That planes are falling out of the sky because there's not enough people who control them. You know what I mean? In terms of like the runways and whatnot. So
as far as I know, no controllers got affected because, I mean,
because
we're
you're already short.
We're short,
But
yeah.
that's also like
So I
Well,
wonder what the
it's
hell these
just-
people are talking about.
he's like he said.
it's a headline thing.
Yeah, it's like he said also maybe some back office people that don't really contribute
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
part of their job, right? Where compared to you, you're probably like one of the most important in.
Or the front line.
Yeah, exactly, right. And you're probably putting in the most work to make sure that these planes are.
Yeah, I mean, everybody plays a role because there's a lot
Right.
of technicians, tech ops. They do a lot of the backgrounds, all the equipment we have, all the antennas, all the everything.
Is it new equipment or is it old equipment?
It's newer.
What
I
the
mean,
hell's newer mean?
I
How
mean,
often does it get replaced?
No, it doesn't. So that's the thing. I've also been keeping up with that as well because they've been talking about that.
what
our
we're working
air-
with is not old, but
they
but
said that a
then-
lot of the airports in America actually run on pretty old equipment. That actually costs more to maintain than to replace. But the problem with replacing is that you can't just go and replace one thing. You have to replace
The whole thing,
everything,
yeah.
right?
The whole system.
Yeah.
Well, I guess does
and it has to be almost the same so it talks to each other because it's the one.
That's
I was
the-
about to
network.
ask. I was
and
about to
that's
ask.
the biggest problem with the whole thing is that because they're so intertwined, they can't just bring in a new system and just do an upgrade on one, one tower and then connect to the rest, right? Because it's a completely different thing.
I mean,
right?
that's how it is in IT. You can't just gut everything and replace it with new. You have to make steps to transition it,
yeah,
right? But then, like, if it's a super big company or like a complex network, right? Like for let's say all the equipment for ATCs, you can do it in steps, but even then, like, unless you're doing it all at once,
yeah, and
is
that's what
almost
they're-
it's not
impossible.
gonna.
and that's-
Which
yeah,
it's
exactly.
impossible.
'Cause
You'd have
what
to-
would you do? Shut down the airspace
For how-
for
for
how
how
long?
Overnight. I mean,
You can't-
Overnight,
you can't
would it
do
be
that
enough?
overnight. You can't do that
Well, it
overnight.
depends. I'm sure they have systems. They do it in steps. When I was in West Virginia, that's when they were replacing all the radar equipment and all the. It's modern now. I don't know when they started implement. Maybe it's like 15 years old. I don't know.
So that's not old.
I don't have the data.
It's not the oldest.
It's not old, but it replaced stuff that was built in the 70s.
That's what I'm saying. So there's a big
So
gap there between 15 years ago. Let's say you're
That's
talking about 2010,
That's 40 years.
and from 1970s, that's fucking 40 years, dude.
I mean, I still worked on a radar in West Virginia that had that sweep that you see on movies.
Yeah.
And the reason why the stereotype is that those controllers work in a dark room is because those old, I don't know what the material was, but those old radar scopes, if you had any kind of backlight, you
It would
could
just reflect.
Yeah, it would just be like you wouldn't see stuff. So
Yeah.
the darker the room, the easier it was to pinpoint and read off of it.
Yeah. How the hell did you guys make the room darker during the day?
What do you
Shades all around the place?
No,
Or-
it was.
Oh, because it was in dark room.
Well, no, it was just a room without windows. So
Okay.
close the door. Turn the
Well,
lights.
no, because that was
It's not in the tower. It's downstairs.
radar
Oh,
duty is
that's right.
downstairs.
That's
like
right.
you were saying,
That's right.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
We have shades, but they don't work that well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, that doesn't sound like it's very efficient in terms
No.
of having the radar. Because you ever watch Die Hard?
Yeah.
No.
I think the fucking first one or second one where the airplanes crash or whatever. It sounds like a today's day. They had in the movie. I'm pretty sure in the movie the tower had the radar in the middle of the room.
Yeah, it's fake though. It's
No,
a
I know,
movie.
I know, it's a movie, yeah.
that's
They
not
probably
fake.
have one.
They used to have it like that in West
Yeah.
Virginia. That airport had it where they had the radar controller was in the corner,
Yeah.
and the other guys was working the tower behind them. And then later they updated where they kind of
Moved
moved it downstairs.
I just communicated probably what through.
Some of the stuff in the movies is accurate. The rest could be
Yeah,
Hollywood.
that's a movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, so I was curious and like, because like I said, I've been reading about it, I've been hearing about
It's
it.
all
I've
over
been
the news
seeing-
now,
yeah,
especially in New York lately.
Who?
New York.
New York or Newark?
Well, Newark Airport, New Jersey. Yeah,
New Jersey. I was gonna ask you what's the most dangerous airport in America? I heard it's Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why would it be
yeah.
dangerous? Like as in
As in like
flight risks?
As in like the
crash?
airport itself is just not like it's old school stuff.
Oh,
You know,
See,
like
so when they're talking about the technology and being old school, I don't know. In my opinion, it's got to be maybe something in the back like back office. I don't know, the tech up stuff.
yeah,
Because what we're working with, I'm sure where I was at my first airport, we were like the second to last airport to get upgraded. So everybody in the country should have the
the newer stuff.
newer stuff. So
Yeah.
whatever it is,
but how long
It
did
could be
take
like
for
the-
that?
well, what do you mean?
But, like if you're one of the last airports in the
How long
country,
did that process
how
take?
long that
Oh, that
whole
process took probably
like 15 years.
maybe not, maybe
10
10.
years?
I don't know.
You
I
know?
wasn't in yet, so I don't know when they were
but
getting
how,
it.
How many airports are there in the country?
America has the most airports, I think. It'll like as far as because there's a lot of little airports and
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, a lot of
right.
regional, a lot
Yeah.
of lot of
just
international.
a
There's-
strip in the field.
yeah.
Not all of them have all the equipment, but
I mean, there's runways out there. Where, like, there's private runways out there. They don't have a
Yeah.
tower,
right.
right? Which then I don't know how to communicate.
I'm
well,
trying-
who the hell are you communicating to? If it's
There's
just
a-
one
the-
airplane on a fucking
the-
runway.
I'm just.
Well, there's a system to that.
I'm sure there is.
there's-
I'm trying to think. But Executive Airport,
Yeah.
they have a tower.
Yeah, they're
I,
FA.
They have
FAA.
yeah.
I literally worked on the airport, and
Did
I can't remember. Like we had a company that was like literally
One of the hangars.
across the fence.
Oh,
in Wheeling, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and
Palatine.
there was a crash there like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
And
heard about it. I read about
one of the
this.
guys
that ran
was,
off the runway.
That was Midway.
Well, no.
Yeah, ran
That
off the,
too, I remember that.
and it hit like the no. I think he missed the runway.
There was one that went into the forest. But I
Yeah,
think it ran
well,
on
no,
fuel.
he- no,
That was
he
a
hit
couple years-
the-
It's a smaller plane.
No, he
not-
hit, he
like
hit
a trainer.
he hit like the ditch after the runway.
Oh yeah, that happens. I mean,
yeah, I mean the guy.
that
the guy
airport
was,
has a resting system where if the plane goes off the runway at the end, it kind of
Yeah, I
like
think it does.
quicksand,
I
it
think
stops.
I think it does now.
no.
I don't-
Well, I'm sure after a few accidents.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
well,
been there for a while.
The guy was telling me when he was there. He's like, dude, I remember that day. It was like an earthquake.
I bet.
You know, you have a plane hit the side of a ditch. Like you're gonna feel that. And we're so close to the airport. We're literally like you turn into the airport to get to the
Office.
office that I was at.
That's one of the busier like small airports around here.
I swear I've never. seen
DuPage
it.
would be next. They have a lot of-
DuPage is
Was it
when we
Joliet?
went, no, DuPage is
No.
where we went to do a car show
Did you?
last year
Oh really?
At the
in in the
runways.
hangar.
in the
On the
hangars.
runways?
Yeah,
Or I think okay.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it was DuPage. Was it DuPage?
It's West Chicago on North Avenue.
No, not that one. Never mind. Where we went was further out.
DeKalb?
The
Maybe.
Calb.
Okay.
Yeah, the Calb. Yeah, that's where we went. Yeah, we were on the runway there.
That's
We
out
had-
in the fields.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was, I think, 2 runways there. I think.
Yep.
We were in the hangar and we had like a car show, like get together a bunch of these.
That's the
fucking-
thing. That's those small airports that are in the middle of nowhere. There's like this hangar life culture where either
The guy had like a bunch of little planes
either
in there,
people
and a
that
bunch
have
of
planes
shit.
hang out, grill
Yeah.
party, or
Yeah.
they invite car guys and
There was like 40 or 50 like not supercars, but like like exotics,
Yeah.
Lambos and all kinds of crap like that, R8s and shit like
Yeah.
that. I took my GTR, my buddy took his GTR, my other buddy took his NSX, the one that was here before.
Yep.
So we all went out there, and a bunch of Lambos were out there, and then the thing ended, everybody's fucking cruising. I took my wife, so I had to drive kind of slow, but these guys were doing 150, 160, 170. My buddy went with them, but then at 170, he's like, "Fuck that, I'm out."
yeah.
You know,
When I was at Aurora, they actually did, I think one of the companies that operates airplanes out of there organized something. There was a bunch of exotics that showed up, probably like 50 or 60, 70 cars.
yeah, we did that last year.
That was
the
a
guy-
couple years ago.
Yeah, the guy that owns the hangar, his son is in the cars, I think.
Yeah.
So we
That's
were.
all it takes. Get some buddies.
Yeah.
round them up.
So that was fun.
Speaking of car shows.
Yeah, what do we got? What did David come here in?
Wait, hold on. First,
Oh
Before I
yeah,
bring it
yeah,
up,
yeah.
A Solutions is hosting Cars and Coffee.
That's right, our first one.
You gonna be there, David?
I don't know what I'm working with.
He's probably he's gonna be sitting in the tower.
I'll be at work. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sure.
He'll be using his binoculars to spy on us, dude.
I'll watch from far.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
huge-
We invite everybody. Whoever wants to come out, come on out.
Yeah, big.
I heard
set.
no Volkswagens.
Try to stay away from those, but we already got a Volkswagen in the yard, man. That's the only one we got.
Well, lucky for you, you came in. What did you come in?
In a Subaru STI, a classic, I would say.
Oh yeah, that's a classic for sure. I'm surprised it's still running.
2006. Me too.
Nah.
I've enjoyed it.
These ones in particular were pretty good. Is this the? I can't remember which one is the Bug Eye. Is this the Bug? Not
No,
not
this is
Bug
the
Eye. Bug Eye was the
Hawkeye.
previous. This is the Hawkeye. Yeah,
The
yeah,
Bug
yeah.
Eye's previous. Bug Eye's
Yeah.
05.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
a 2006.
Yeah, this is nice. It's clean. I was just looking at it earlier. I'm like, dude, you can clean this thing up pretty good for its age, dude. Mine has to crack in the front bumper, but that
Yeah.
shit happens. I'm sure.
Hey.
Maybe a skunk or some shit.
Nobody noticed until you said it.
I mean,
Thanks for pointing it out.
it's okay. It's okay. We'll find something. We'll put a sticker on it.
Yeah.
I'll give you A Solution
You
sticker.
want
just
those
put it on the
Band-Aids?
bottom.
Yeah, don't be Pauly back in the day with his S2000. He had a
Go
big
put it
ass,
on it?
he had a big ass dent, and he just threw a Band-Aid. No, Mike put a big pink Band-Aid on the car.
Yeah.
And Pauly's like, oh, that looks awesome.
Yeah. So, how do you like the car, man? I mean, I know you've had it for a long ass time.
I've had it since 2011, so 14 years.
Yeah,
Coming on?
Yeah, because I remember you always talked about it.
That's all I wanted. Since like I told you, I was into rally racing games when I was younger. Colin McRae, early 2000s, and that was like the top car. I remember you were working still at home on some buddies that when I was coming over, you had a few Subarus in the garage. I'm like, man, one day.
Yep.
That one day came, huh?
One day came, and I remember my uncle's like, "What's your next car?" I'm like, because he's like, "What's your dream car?" I'm like, "This." He's like, "Okay, so you got it. What's your next car?" I'm like,
Yeah,
"I
what
don't
is
know."
your next car?
To be honest, I don't have like some exotic car, wants or anything
Doesn't
like
have to
that.
be exotic.
It doesn't have to be exactly.
Well, I know, but I think that I'll
2.5.
I always told myself that I want my son one day I want to teach him how to drive stick on that.
So you want to keep it for that long, huh?
Yeah,
Hell
I don't
yeah.
see any. I've had it for this long. It's made its.
I mean, it's been probably paid off for a while already. I mean,
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's been you've been using it.
It's
here
been
and there.
invested in, so I've kind of partially repainted it too because it was my daily when I was younger.
Yeah.
I drove it to work, to college, and then once I got hired into the ATC and I went to West Virginia, I was like, I'm not putting these miles on this thing.
How much
So,
miles you got on right now?
154.
It sounds like a Subaru, but I'm surprised it's still fucking running at 154. I mean,
It's not
just-
highly
I'm
modified.
Sorry, just
No. Hey, if it was pushing 800 horsepower,
yeah, that's
then
true. That's the thing is that the more you modify it, the more fucking problems it becomes.
Paul knows something about
I've been
that.
all about it. Yeah, I've
It's
been
only
there. Been there.
bolt-ons.
I know about it today as we talk about it today. But
You were just telling me the other day. He's like, I gotta put this much money into the GTR. just to
God
get
damn
it
it, bro! I love that car, but fucking I swear to God,
It's a money
like-
pit.
I mean, it's
any
it is
cars, if you mess with it, I got to say.
sometimes if you have a car, let's say like a Porsche GT3 or GT2 or something
Yeah.
like that, right? Usually, not usually, but a good amount of times you'll get your money back
Yeah.
that you put into the car,
But you would have to sell it.
but you have to sell it. Yeah, right.
You can't get attached to it for too long.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of enjoy it. Do
enjoy
something
it,
with
and then move on from it. Most exotics are like that. They'll keep the value overall in general, right? GTR is not really an exotic. It's more of a fucking just a nice higher end.
I was gonna say it's an affordable high end car, right?
Yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
feel
Like a new GTR. If you wanted to go buy a new GTR, well, if you bought the most newest ones like the T Spec, that was like $200,000.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's paying $200,000 for a GTR or like the Nismo. I'd buy a Nismo, the Nismo GTR, like the newest one. You know who has one? Joe Rogan. That fucker. He's got a nice one.
He can probably have whatever he wants.
Dude, he can 100%. But he's got one of those in his garage.
That's
He
what
said
we're
it-
trying to get
he
to.
said
on the
he's-
podcast.
my buddy Cooper, Jacob, the one that was here last time, he's
Yeah.
like, "What's up, Joe Rogan of Homer Glen?"
You got to start somewhere.
Yes, but so Joe Rogan's got one of those, but they, $200,000 for a car like that, I would say is a little bit more expensive because for $200,000 you get a Lambo, right?
Right.
Right.
But I think the GTR is more practical than a Lambo.
What do
Because-
those go for?
What?
Oh, GTR.
I mean,
Depends.
used or new?
Right.
When they
Used.
came out new, they're like 100, 120. It really depends, right? Right now, you can get one as cheap as $50,000 right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
for sure.
But they're like, we're talking like 2009, higher mileage, stuff like that.
Mm.
Like a 2015, something like that. If you're buying like a 2017, which is like the facelift and everything, you're probably spending at least you could maybe find one for like $90,000.
Okay.
It depends on the miles. 80 to $90,000. But after that, it's just higher and higher as the miles go down, right? In the new year of the year.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's just a GTR to me compared to a Lambo is just more practical. Because I wouldn't mind driving a GTR wherever, right?
You wouldn't take the Lambo everywhere.
But I want to take the Lambo
Yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah.
Sure, I got the Lambo. It looks nice.
It'll
People
be
are
in
like,
the
oh, look,
garage.
he's got a fucking
But-
Lambo,
but-
which is cool.
But the GTR would need to be stock for you to drive around everywhere.
Yes. But the GTR is also easy to work on, and it's easy to work on, and it's easy to modify, right?
Yeah.
So, the same thing. Modifying a Lambo is easy too. Everything's fucking right there, and usually stock I can handle more power. But
I feel like with a Lambo, if you
when
want
you blow up a motor in a Lambo, you're talking about 30 G's for a stock motor,
That's what I was
right?
gonna say. I was gonna say if you or even aftermarket parts, if you want to make it, put whatever in it, it's a lot more expensive to upgrade a Lambo than
I'm
it
a
is to upgrade a
twin
GTR.
turboing a stock, let's say Huracan with a twin turbo, like a base kit, like give you like 700-800 horsepower, is 50 G's.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I
then
know that
again,
for-
we're going to use this 700 horsepower. on
you'll
your
find places.
local
To
Autobahn?
you'll find places.
But
to use
outside of
it.
like going on tracks and racing or whatever.
I mean, it's
legally.
Yeah.
listen. At the
Legal.
end of the
We
day,
don't break no laws. Here.
you like at the end of the day, if you have like, let's say my GTR is like 10 maps, right? I have 10 different settings for
Okay.
power, right?
Yeah.
I go from anywhere from 750 horsepower to 1300, right? And do I drive at 1300 horsepower? But I drove it like once and I fucking blew up the front diff. So that was that. You know, that was raw ass power. It was crazy, bro. I hit it on a turn and I gunned it and the car was fucking spinning on all four wheels, going
Wow.
fucking bananas. And then boom, I'm like, fuck, bro. Someone got fucked
I
up.
think that's all that happened.
But yeah, well, the diff is attached to the engine.
Oh,
So when the
okay.
diff blows up, usually in that GTR,
Pull
it
the
takes the engine with it. Yeah. So lucky for me, that didn't happen. Oh, so fucking. I got home and I was praying. But at like 750 horsepower, dude, for GTR, that's plenty of power and it's fun.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Where are you gonna drive it? I mean, you can fucking drive it anywhere. Drive
Yeah,
it
you
park
can,
or
but-
anything, but you know. But it's like, yeah, you're not
Realistically?
Yeah, realistically.
Yeah,
you know.
what's an oil change cost on a GTR compared to a Lambo, right?
But that's what I'm
Like,
saying, right?
Yeah.
You know,
So it's like
Just the name of the car probably just
oh yeah,
everything
for sure.
goes up.
For sure. That also depends on, like, let's say you have a Lambo with carbon ceramic rotors. We already talked about this before. You
Yeah.
know, that brake job is like 15 G's. You know what I mean? Calipers and I mean not calipers, but pads and like, you know, new rotors, which you shouldn't really have to replace the rotors because they last a long ass time.
Yeah.
Unless you damage them physically, like you put a crack in them or a chip or something like that. Well, then you got to replace it.
Yeah.
So my GTR has carbon ceramic rotors. They're in pretty good shape. They're not the best, but they're good enough. I don't see any like real like, you know, imperfections or reasons for me to change them. And I got them with the car when I bought it, so it all kind of worked out.
Yeah,
for
that's
me.
like it's been a few years too, right?
Yeah. So a regular brake job on a GTR would probably cost you. Let me tell you right now, you're probably looking at. I mean, I sell used rotors for $1,000 that are usable for, you know, for anywhere from 10 to 30,000 miles. It really depends, right? Steel rotors.
Yeah.
$1,000 for rotors, and then pads probably another like $400 or $500.
Yeah.
So with the used rotors, you can go
5K.
$1,500 if you're gonna go
Tenth
brand
of the
new.
cost.
If you're gonna go brand new rotors, brand new pads, obviously brand new. But if you're gonna go brand new rotors, you're probably looking more in the range of like $3,000 for a full brake job.
It's not bad.
And
So
those
it's
are
not that bad, you
yeah,
know.
those are the parts that like sometimes you can get away with buying used, right? Some parts.
I mean-
some parts are just better to buy new.
I mean, yeah, it just depends on the wear,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It depends on the condition. Like that Lambo we got last week that we were doing the podcast with,
Mhm.
we're gonna be stripping that down, and that has carbon ceramic rotors, and each one of those rotors will probably be sell for around 2 G's.
Wow.
A rotor, right?
Did you guys start on it yet?
I sold the ABS pump right off the bat. 'Cause there was a
Customers waiting?
customer who was like, "Yo, I need the ABS pump like right now." I'm like, "I got you, bro. I'm gonna sell it to you." And then he's like, "You got an engine?" I'm like, "I do have an engine."
Stay
And
tuned.
He's like, you know, oh, would you spend, you know, would you let it go for this much? This much? I looked at the market. I'm like, no. I
He was trying
got
to get you. He was trying to get you.
Yeah, sure, yeah, maybe he's trying to get me, but at the same time, you know, I know how the game works. I've
Yeah,
been in it
yeah.
long enough to
I mean-
understand. If I needed the money right now and get the money,
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
fuck it, take the motor
Yeah.
for whatever. Yeah, I think he offered 20 grand for whatever, right? So, but I need to get a bit more than that, and I don't really have a rush to sell it. But I know we'll sell it once we have it out.
Right,
It's running,
exactly.
everything is in good shape, and we'll
I mean,
test
the
it.
people heard it.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then we'll do a compression test on it, a leak down test and everything. Do all of our tests on it, make sure it runs like it's supposed to, and put it up for sale. I mean, those motors going anywhere from, I've seen them going from 28 grand to 45 grand.
Wow.
You know, so it just depends.
Yeah.
So,
That's good.
but that's that's part of the business. Like I said, if I wanted to get rid of the motor quick and make money back ASAP, I'll make the money back ASAP. I just have to. I'll make less money on it,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes it works out better that way. Sometimes it doesn't. It really doesn't. I mean, I have new to the market, so first we want to do a test run, see
Yeah.
what it does, right? How it works out.
There's probably
Well, yeah.
plenty of customers out there that
Oh yeah.
They just have to
yeah.
find out
We're in
that
a
you have it.
GTR world, so we do a lot of GTRs,
Yeah.
right? A lot of the GTR guys are in the same shops as the Lambos,
right.
and the R8s.
The contacts are just
Yeah, so it's pretty pretty close together. I had a couple guys reach out about a couple different things, and then like I said, I have a friend who runs a shop out in Vegas, and he does now all he does is just he does Lambos and supercars, basically like that,
Yeah.
and or exotics, and he's already got a list for me for parts that he needs. So whenever I get to it, I pull that shit off and sell it to him, so that'll come in time, but that's enough about me. Regardless, I wanted to know. What does your job look like when you're out there in at
day-to-day?
O'Hare, dude? Yeah, like a day to day. Give us a breakdown, dude.
rotating shifts. So this year I work a week of days, a week of afternoons. I don't work the midnight shifts. We bid our schedules based on seniority, and right now I'm at the bottom. There's about, I don't know, roughly 60 of us total.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you split it up into shifts, and you need at least 10 positions open at a given day, so you need at least probably 15, 16 or more people on a shift to rotate that through. We need breaks.
Is that 10 per tower or total?
For the main tower.
For the main tower.
The outer tower, we need 3 to rotate that.
Okay.
That one has 2 positions. But
So
yeah, we can't work more than 2 hours on position. We need a break.
how long is the break? So you got 2 hours, then you got a break.
It's not a given 2 hours. There's days where if there's a lot of people that show up to work, I could be working for an hour, then get a break, maybe 35, 40 minutes, depending on how they rotate it to keep everybody working and give everybody a break. And then on an 8-hour shift, I could be working for 5 hours.
Yeah, which makes sense
Total.
because you got to rest up your eyes and stuff. Because you're looking out the tower most of the time, right?
Well, it's looking out the tower, looking at the equipment, the radar scopes. We have a bunch of other stuff that we use to make the job easier, and it's just a workload.
It's a lot of information.
It's a lot. So ironically enough, a bad day or a busy day at work at like the smaller airports like Executive or Aurora, DuPage, a sunny, nice day is busy because that's when all the little guys are out there training. Pilots are learning how to fly and everything's going. That's crazy. It's a busy day. For us at a big airport like this, a normal sunny day is a normal day. It's just standard work. But when weather comes in, thunderstorms, snow, that's when it's really like you could be working in a position for not even the full 2 hours, an hour and a half, and it drains you mentally.
Yeah, because you have so many different.
Reset. There's so much. You're talking nonstop. There's so many different variables that the given position entitles, where you have to look over for that. Make sure this plane gets to the runway at a given time because they're restricted in New York or somewhere else. They got like 3-4 minute gaps that we have to release them out of O'Hare for them to
keep up.
Yeah. So like when you're flying commercially and you get delayed. And sometimes you're looking out the window like, why are we stopped? It's sunny out here, but it's not what's happening here. Sometimes it's what's happening either en route or where you're going to.
Yeah.
Like if there's weather in Florida and it's bad, they're trying to limit the amount of planes that come in. So they put in
so they hold you back.
They put in the program, yeah. They always say the safest plane or safest place for an airplane is on the ground, not in the sky.
Yeah, 100%.
So instead of
100% nowadays.
Yeah. So instead of letting everybody fly towards Florida, where they're not going to be able to land because the weather's coming in, strong winds, it's not safe, and then keep everybody holding in circles at 15, 30,000, whatever, they do just laps in the sky until they say they're low on fuel and we got to divert to another airport. You end up in Jackson, Mississippi or something, and not Florida, and then you're like, what the hell? That's the reason for that. So you get held on the ground, and then when things lighten up, or they meter the flights in, and then so it's not always, we're not the problem for delays. Although usually pilots say we're delayed due to ATC. ATC as a system, yes. ATC as in me, not quite. It's the whole system. That's how it works, and that's
because it's all interconnected between all the airports in the U.S., right? So you guys all basically talk to each other.
There's a whole command center that there's calls there's calls whenever stuff goes down or bad weather. They coordinate everything.
No, you can swear all you want to do. we don't.
First?
I'm pretty sure I swore first. And
I'm pretty sure I swore first.
No, first time I swore, I think we were 2.5 minutes in because I checked the
tracking.
I'm like, damn.
For anybody who doesn't know, we're supposedly, we already mentioned this multiple times, but what does it say?
It says you're not supposed to swear the first 2 minutes.
No, and then we're good.
I know for sure that we fucked up on a couple of those episodes for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
interesting.
The delays are a whole system. It's a whole system, a whole national, I guess, conference call that they dictate and meter and limit the amount of planes to the Boris Airport.
So how many? So you work 8 hours. So is your shift usually 8 hours?
It's standard shift's 8. They could hold us over for overtime, no more than 2, so 10 total. I can't work more than 10 hours.
And then how many days of work a week?
Well, since we're short-staffed, 6 days a week all year long.
So they got your ass, huh?
Yep. It's scheduled ahead of time.
Yeah,
we got our schedule a month ahead.
Yeah, but that means
I already got my overtime schedule.
But that means you're making good money on this.
Money's good, but I got no time.
Yeah, well, that's how it is.
Coming here is what kind of got me to fix some of the stuff, and
you needed a reason.
The lip's been gone for 3 years, and like it's about time I put it on.
Damn, it does look like a new lip. Did you just put it on?
The headlights were yellow. They're so oxidized that.
Dude, that was me last week. I just cleaned my headlights last week.
It took me forever. I already had people like commenting like, dude, get your headlights fixed. I'm like, yeah, no time.
Well, I was more like, I can't see anymore.
That's true. Yeah, like with no lights on the road.
Yeah, I couldn't see.
Gotta get those LEDs, dude.
Yeah.
They blind everybody else on the other side,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, yeah.
With
No,
the, with the
car's
LED
too
bar.
low.
Bro, so I mean, LEDs are awesome. Like the Lexus that we got, right? That's all. The headlights are fucking awesome. They're bright. They shine everything, bro. But they also blind the shit out of everybody else coming across.
Yeah.
I know for a fact because they're always high beaming me, like, yo, turn off your high
Yeah.
beams. I'm like, dude, these are high beams, bro. Like, if you wanna, so they're nice. It's just, I just recently learned that.
Do they turn?
No, they don't
Probably.
turn.
No.
They don't turn. But when you turn the steering wheel
Fog light turns.
in the
on?
bumper, it has these side
Oh, okay.
lights that lights up the side that
yeah,
you're turning
yeah.
into.
I've seen cars where the fog,
Yeah.
one of the fog lights turns on if they
My
have it.
Jeeps do that.
Do they?
Yeah, my girlfriend's Jeep does that. Her fog light will turn on when you're turning.
Yeah, so this has fog lights and then it has like side fog lights. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were even there until one time I'm driving into the garage and the side of the car lights. I'm like, what the fuck?
Dude,
I'm like, where the hell did this come from? And so I'm like, I went to go literally investigate. I went to the front bumper. I'm like, what the hell is this? Oh, we're behind. So behind the fog light,
yeah.
there's like a side light. It literally just shines to the side.
I remember Dad's Sprinter. I was driving that one time with the newer one, right? And the first one he had before it got totaled, the light would actually turn.
Yes.
The headlight would actually turn.
Yeah, inside of
the
it,
new
right?
one
a lot
has
of
a
the
second light.
a lot of the German cars I think have
Yeah.
that.
Probably.
Beamers
So-
for sure have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have the up and down side.
I'm pretty,
side, bro.
I'm pretty sure you have to use turn signals, which they don't. So
But so
Delays?
delays. What?
yeah, you're gonna get David's gonna get a Snapchat from us. We're on a plane. He's like, there's a delay.
Yeah. So so they got you 6 hours, 6 or 6
Yeah,
days
overtime,
a week, huh?
non-stop overtime mandatory.
Well,
They
that's-
can't
I
work,
mean,
at least they can't work us 7 days straight. So
yeah,
I
exactly,
need a day off.
exactly.
That's
But I mean, I guess you also get breaks in between, when you're working. Right? I mean, you don't
what are
really.
you gonna do?
You're still at work.
I'm at work. Yeah, I got to be there. But there's days where you get worked hard, and there's days where they're just kind of you go in, do your stuff, go home, and it's fine. When I was training at O'Hare, that was some intense stuff. Where I remember there was ground control, so controlling all the planes on the
Yeah.
ground, getting to the runway or from the runway. That's done by 2 people at O'Hare. So that 200 airplanes in an hour is controlled by just 2 people. One
Damn.
works out, one works in, and we have a system where there's no street lights, there's no stop signs. We have it all worked out where we kind of know where we can be in what direction, and things just miss each other. It's a well working oiled machine, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. I mean, if they got
and
the
it
system
doesn't
down.
clog up for the most part. I mean,
Yeah.
there's things that happen, construction or
Yeah.
potholes come up like a normal road. They patch them up and then they give it back to us and we keep using it. So,
How
Where was I
how long is the runway down for if it's down? I mean, I'm sure it depends.
it
But
depends. I mean, sometimes a pilot reports some cracks of cement on the runway, so they close it for safety reasons. They come out there, put some, I don't know, asphalt patch or something. 10, 15 minutes.
Malcolm.
They give it right back to us. That's not a permanent fix.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I remember one time last summer, one of the main runways that we use for departures, pilots report crack. Okay, they came out, fixed it. 2 hours later, they pilots again cracked, fixed it.
Hold on, we gotta pause because we got a guest.
Come here.
You come podcast? Come here.
She wander here on her own.
No,
No.
she wants to go on a sim. All right,
she's
we'll
gonna
be
go
right
sim.
back.
Ah, we're still here.
Yeah, hold on.
And we're back. We had an intruder.
Uninvited guest.
No, she's invited.
I mean, it's
My
her house.
True.
My daughter
Unexpected guest.
pops in. She's like, "Hey, what's up?" She didn't want to come on though. Not yet. Not
No.
yet.
No,
We're
she,
like-
she wanted to.
she wanted to do
use
the sim. Yeah, she wanted to do the sim. Yeah, and watch slime.
Dude, I remember the first time I tried it, and I was driving, and she's like, she wanted to sit in my lap. I'm like, dude, okay. It was hard. But anyways, we were talking about 2 people dealing in and out.
Yeah,
at O'Hare.
moving the airplanes in and out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, ground control. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we were
ground
talking about construction.
Construction. That was part of it too. Yeah, that throws a wrench in the whole progress.
Yeah, like you said, the weather and everything else does too, right? So
Yeah, the delays and all that.
yeah. I mean, it's it's definitely an interesting job though. How long does a career in that field usually last? Do you know, like
So we have to retire. Mandatory retirement's 56.
50 by the time you're age
Well,
56?
yeah, when I hit 56, I have to retire.
Damn.
I
Damn.
could get an extension. I think 5 years. Every year you have to apply for an extension, and they might approve it. They might deny it.
They're probably gonna test you too.
Yeah, I
as
was
well,
gonna say
right?
there's probably a test.
I don't know. I
It's
haven't
like
heard of
if-
any. I work with a guy that's been extended twice, maybe already.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do testing. I'm not sure. I never asked him,
'Cause I
but
mean, like, if you can't see,
Or
know?
or here.
Yeah.
I'm a little deaf and a little blind, but I'm fucking controlling those airplanes. Then you wonder why they keep falling out of the sky. So why are airplanes falling out of the sky? You
There
know?
we go. That's the question.
Yeah, dude.
I was
like-
gonna ask about that one guy that hijacked that airplane. He
in,
worked at an
Alaska?
airport.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. That was in Seattle or something.
Yeah. What
What?
was his
The
name?
airplanes have no keys, so you just jump in if you know what you're doing.
Yeah. And he's like he took it
He
was in
took a
Alaska.
small prop airplane,
Uh-huh.
took off without approval. He just kind of got into it, closed the door, started the plane, took off the runway, and then just
Flew around.
He flew
until
around. He went around like the mountains.
He's like, oh, I want to check this place out. He flew around this island, and then the ATC got a hold of him, and they started talking to him. But he's like, yeah, I don't know. This was a big mistake, but and then it was planned, obviously.
Yeah, the guy's like, yeah, I did something bad. They're like, by something bad, do you mean you hijacked an airplane? Yeah.
I know I shouldn't have done this, but
Yeah.
here we are.
And they're like, do you know what you're
And
doing?
it was
He's like,
worth it.
he's like, they're like, do you know what you're doing? He's like, yeah, I've played some games.
Yeah, exactly. Literally.
That's it. And then at one point, he's just like, hey, you think this plane could do a barrel roll? I swear to God.
Yeah, and I think he tried it. And
I don't know if he tried it or
I
not.
think he
They
did.
live?
No, he crashed it into an island or something.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, no, he didn't land that thing. It was. I would think it was a suicidal thing,
Oh, that would make sense. I'd do the same thing.
unless
then.
he was literally just trying to go for fun. And
If I was gonna
thinking-
go,
Maybe he just didn't want to
listen,
go
if
to
I
jail.
wanted to
and
get
he's
rid of
like,
myself, I'm not gonna shoot. I'm gonna go fucking steal a plane. Then I'm gonna fly it out of here, and I'm gonna go fly around.
Yeah.
flying
I'm
is
gonna
not
fly
hard.
straight to God, dude. Straight to God.
Flying isn't hard. It's probably the taking off and landing.
The landing part is probably
Landing's
the
the
hardest.
hardest.
Yeah. Landing,
Flying
I
is
was-
like driving a car. You put minimal inputs and the plane just turns.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just learning all the rules, the regulations, and all the.
I almost feel like taking off is not that hard. I mean, you
all you do is full throttle and keep it straight in line.
You keep
Yeah,
it
and
straight
then
in
you
line,
pull.
then you'll get lift.
And then you pull.
Yeah, but I mean, there comes factors where you have crosswinds, winds blowing you from the side. So
Because like little airplanes don't have flaps, right?
Yeah.
well, so the flaps are used for slowing down.
Slowing down. Yeah.
So the things that turn are called ailerons. They're at the
Yeah. I know airplanes pretty damn well in terms of that because I wanted to be a pilot at one time.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
I know airplanes pretty well.
you and your little
So
model.
do you play flight sim?
your-
Shit, bro. I
Yeah,
played all
dude,
kinds of-
yeah.
So
I played. I know airplanes. I know airlines. I know the rudder. I know all that crap. I know how
Yeah,
most
my
of that stuff
manager
works.
has like half the
full
setup
setup.
for a sim. Like with
That's
I'm not
awesome.
going that deep into it. I'm
Like a half
never going
cockpit?
to be a pilot in my life for sure.
Yeah,
At
but
this point,
Theoretically, if you play that game, Flight Simulator,
bro,
that's
you can take off a
realistic.
fucking plane.
You can take off a plane, play that enough, you can jump into the real plane, and you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that you don't, you're not used to the physics of
Yeah.
being.
Well, that's because you don't. That
You're
would
sitting in a chair.
that would be like sitting in like a real sim,
Yeah.
like a F1 sim,
That's
right?
like that's like
Where it
playing-
goes like this.
Yeah.
But that's the
But
only
doing an
difference.
airplane.
Yeah, you could get into an airplane and fly.
Yeah.
You ever see those sims for tractors?
Yep.
For like farm
Farm
simulator?
sim-
Fuck are they
You
on
know
that
how-
fucking air compressed chair?
Yeah, dude. They
Fuck
literally
outta
take a train. They take a like a semi truck.
Air ride seat.
Yeah, air ride seat. Install it. They build a monitor into like
I
into
mean that's
the
cool.
dash.
Have you ever played a truck simulator before game?
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, me too. It was fun.
Same.
When you had drive all night? Literally,
Yeah.
I literally sat there all night not driving.
Well,
I'm
I
like,
remember
God,
we
damn,
had like
this is a
we
fucking
had like
boring ass
the
ride.
we had like the original one. Me, you, and Peter played it all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
It was only
like
like
the
it
graphics
was-
were shitty. You could drive
yeah.
over the fields and shit.
It was only like yeah, and I remember I couldn't.
I hit the
hard
fucking
truck, too.
post. I hit the post in the damn yards all the time.
I
Bro.
couldn't back that shit up.
Oh,
for-
backing up was hard as hell now.
Yeah.
Now that I drive a truck, like a small truck with a trailer,
So
easy.
going back to flying, you said no. Another thing you said. So I was saying, like, you play that game, you can learn how to fly a plane, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can.
So, like you guys, I played the truck games when I was younger, and then I was working at the warehouse where you picked up your stuff.
Yeah.
And-
Because we worked indirectly worked with each
Yeah.
other. Yeah, because I bought my packaging material from your warehouse.
For my company, yeah.
Yeah.
So my manager's one day, he's like, "Hey, you want to see what it's like to drive a truck?" I'm like, "You want me to show you what I know?" He's like, "Will you? What?" I'm like, "Get in."
He had
So-
experience.
yeah, and I backed it into the dock, a full 53-foot trailer. He's like, "Where'd you learn that?" I'm like, "A computer, not online, but yeah."
And he's probably like, "What the? Who? Oh,
Mark.
not Mark.
Yeah.
Mark is a funny guy. Mark is shocked by a lot of shit. He's like, "Hey, you ever sell a truck? Let me know. I'll buy it."
He goes through a lot of cars.
Yeah.
He finds good deals.
Yeah,
Polishes them up.
he's a cool guy. He was into he was last time when they closed on it. He's still at that shop.
Yeah, I think he's running it. For
Yeah.
them.
Last time I talked to him, I picked up the desk from him that we have for maybe our
The one that you've been
podcast.
talking about for 17
Yeah.
You bought this
episodes.
from him?
Yeah, I bought it from him. He had a bunch
Yeah.
of them. It was
Oh.
like a
Maybe
2000
from the office then.
yeah. It was
Okay.
like a big ass desk. It's like a $2,000 desk. I got for like $200.
Guy's been talking
So I'm
about
like,
it for
fuck yeah, I'm
17
gonna buy this.
episodes.
But well, whatever. We can get that tomorrow if
Guess
you
what
want.
episode we're on?
17.
And so I went over there last time. I was like last year. I went and I seen him and I was talking to him. He's like, everything's out of here. Out of here. He was into the MGs, the little fucking cars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
a little roadster, or I don't know what it's, Mercedes.
I thought he had a family and kids and stuff. He's by himself.
Nope.
He's just enjoying his life.
He's
I'm
living
like,
life.
that's awesome.
He'd had
I'm like,
boats.
shit,
He had motorcycles.
Yeah, exactly. He was
Can't
showing
say
me-
living a life, David. You know,
No?
your wife might hear you.
Well, I mean, listen. Some people like it like that. Some people like it another way. So it's like, but he was happy with the way he was.
Yeah.
Things were going out for him. So good for him.
No, he's really
He's
good.
got a girlfriend. We probably had multiple girlfriends. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
He was my boss, but we're still in touch, good friends, and
yeah. Tell him I say hello when you see
he's
him.
just afraid to jump in a plane with me.
Yeah. I told him to come down here one day to hang out.
Oh,
He's
he-
like, what did he say? He wanted to come see. I think he wanted to ride in GTR.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but then he was like, I don't know. It sounds like it's kind of scary, right? I'm like, definitely not. If you're a thrill seeker, awesome. If you're not, probably not.
Yeah, I don't know what he enjoyed. I don't know.
Last time I seen him, he was on a boat. Not a boat. He was on a fucking motorcycle, like an old school one that he redid and everything. So, do you know bikes are cool that are popular nowadays? They're like the old bikes. They're like the flat seat.
Cafe
old school?
racers?
What are they called?
Cafe racers?
Cafe racers? Is that
Yeah.
what they're called?
With like the chopped back.
Or are you talking about like those banana seat straight with the tank?
Yeah,
Like those old bikes
like
in
old
Poland?
school. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
like the old CBs.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Like
I haven't
like
seen
the old
one.
Hondas.
I've seen a lot of them being like
Restored
restored and
yeah.
like decked out.
Retrofitted,
Yeah,
like,
retrofitted and
yeah,
stuff. They look cool. I think Mike makes bikes like that.
I had one like that.
Oh,
Remember the
don't
one
remember.
the one in Oakland that I had? It
oh yeah,
was-
the one they couldn't get to run.
Yeah, and then Mike got it, and he's like, "You were like 30 minutes away from getting it because
No
it was
way.
carburetors."
Oh,
And I didn't know shit about carburetors.
clean them out.
And then he's like, I sell it to him, and then like, he texted me like 3 hours after he picked it up, and
He's
he's
like,
like,
I'm riding this bitch
he's like,
around.
dude, you were so close to having it running.
Damn.
He's like, I did a couple things, and it started right up, and it's running.
It could be
Nice.
finicky, but
yeah,
once you get it going.
Yeah, but he like retrofitted a nice like LED light
Yeah.
in the front.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
cut the back fender off,
Mm.
so it was like a shorter fender.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then he put a custom seat where it was a shorter seat as well. And,
those are cool.
And that was a cruiser bike, right? And he chopped it down to like making it look kind of nice, you know?
They look pretty awesome.
Yeah. And they're you can get one for cheap.
Yeah, I mean I could buy a bike for cheap right now. It's parked in my driveway for sale.
I don't know if you can convert that one.
We're not covering shit on that one. I was just driving around, but I don't know. I had a bike for a
It's too
while.
big.
It's a cruiser, bro. It's a heavy ass
you had a
bike.
crotch rocker, right?
Yeah,
You
I
had
had
the
a
Buell.
I had a Buell, bro. XB, what was it, 9R? Or XB12R. Fucking 1200 cc Harley engine and on a
Yeah.
crotch rocket. That thing was awesome.
Until somebody launched and they stayed.
Yeah, well, that's a story for another time.
Was it a brother?
No.
No,
That was a friend
too
of
young
mine.
to ride bike. I've never ridden a bike, and I don't think I ever will.
No.
It was fun. I had a Aprilia that I sold to.
Yeah,
that's
that's
cool.
the one
I
bike
sold to the
would've
guy.
bought.
That's the I sold to the guy who was last week. I don't know what he did with it. I wonder if he still has it. Probably. But regardless of the fact, I rode it for a little bit, and then I just didn't feel safe on a bike,
Yeah.
so I just
Yeah,
stopped
so
riding.
you
them.
could be a good rider, but someone else gets you.
Yeah, but that's all I was worried about. I had like one encounter one time where somebody else like smacked me off the road almost, and I'm like, nah, fuck this.
Yeah.
Just get in the car and just keep driving the car.
I've always rode motorcycles and started when I was little in Poland. I had my own little Simpson or whatever.
Yeah, those are fun.
They are.
But it's like
I still have it. I'm
Yeah, you
thinking of
still have
bringing
it?
Yeah.
damn, bro, that thing's gonna be old as
It's 1990.
shit.
50
That's old.
cc, 4 gear.
Yeah, dude, that's the one. That's the one. I think they're 49 cc because if you went more than
Well,
50,
yeah, 49.
yeah, if you went 50 or more, you had to get a license for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could ride without a license.
Mike imported one from Poland for his dad, for one year for his birthday. Like one of the ones, like the original one he drove in Poland too.
No shit.
Yeah, he imported. He had it restored and everything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Listen, we're gonna get to the final question. Why are these damn airplanes falling out of the sky, man? What's going on here?
Or people
Talk to us.
or people landing nose first.
So, I guess
There's a lot of factors that
So
go
we
into
already
each
talked
accident's
about
different.
the fact that the current government, the current administration, isn't actually trying to get rid of ATCs. They're actually trying to get more,
Yeah,
right?
To my knowledge, yeah, we're not affected as ATCs, and we are in a hiring, I guess,
Freeze.
not
No,
freeze.
no,
No,
they're not a
opposite.
freeze. They're looking for people,
trying,
right?
Like, yeah,
Spree.
the new.
So who they bringing in, dude? Anybody interesting?
Oh.
Anybody good at the job, or just fucking randoms? Bro?
I mean, anyone can apply. You can. You can't.
Why not? Why am I fucking too old or what?
You're over 30.
Damn.
There was a cutoff age, 30.
Yeah. But you
yeah,
said we were talking previous. You said that if you had no experience, you could become an ATC.
Yeah, you can. Because
Damn, Marcin, you just missed the cutoff.
I just missed it. Yeah. Damn.
when I was going through the system, it was either you go to college, get a degree, or you're through the military.
Mm.
And then some politics changed, and then they opened it up to it's called off the street hire. Anyone can apply. And I think the current requirement is you either have 3 years of full-time work experience or a combination of part-time, just so you have job experience. No aviation knowledge, no nothing.
That's crazy.
Just job
Just to
experience.
qualify to get through the first step in the application. Then you take several tests, exams, and then you score on that, and then they pull you in. I mean, there's thousands of people that apply every time, and then I don't know what the numbers are, but let's say half of that goes through, and then after that half goes through academy to Oklahoma City. Then that's a pretty rigorous exam, I would say, where it doesn't really matter if you have aviation knowledge, experience. It's based on what you can do as a person, I guess, what you're capable of doing, how you can handle the situation. Because they say it's the most stressful job in the world. I say no, but there's days
I did
where,
hear that it was the most one of the most stressful jobs in the world.
yeah, that's what everyone says. I think the like a brain surgeon would be stressful, but I guess a brain surgeon has one patient, and we go through a couple thousand of passengers. That
Well,
I
yeah,
don't think
yeah.
about.
You have a lot of people in your hands.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
right?
Me or everybody else that's in the
Yeah,
field.
exactly. Well, not you specifically, just you, but
Well,
yeah.
I do too, but
Yeah. But in general, the field has
Yeah.
a lot of people in their hands, right?
I mean,
a lot of lives.
it's still the safest way to travel, believe it or not, even though you keep asking about these accidents.
yeah, what's going on with those, bro? What's
It's the
Hold on,
safest
let him
way.
finish.
It's the safest way to
I-
travel because of the number of passengers that go through the system every day. That's got to be millions.
yeah. Yeah.
The thousands of flights we do.
OKC for training, or
Yeah,
well, do you know what like the passing percentage is?
it varies. My class, we had a class of 18 of us, 50% passed.
So 9.
9, yeah, and it's random. Sometimes there's better times.
But then
and
there's
worse.
people that don't even go and still have the job.
Out of that 9 that passed, then you go to your first airport.
Yeah.
And then that's where you do the real on-the-job training.
Right.
And there's a certain percentage that don't make that. So after
So
a few
out of
thousand
9
that
people,
apply,
By the
yeah.
time out of 500
like
people,
out of the 9 that I was with, I think 2 didn't make it, or 3. So you got 6 left
So
over.
you're about 30%.
So once you start cutting the pie in the end, and then it takes a long time. Some places take like from start to finish, it's about 2 years before you're fully certified and let you work on your own. Before that, you're training with somebody, so you're plugged in to the microphone, you could say, and the trainee is.
so this for you right now is the same thing as just being at work.
Yeah, I was always a shy person, but my job is talking.
Yeah,
nonstop.
dude, 100%.
Yeah.
You talk to the pilots and everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, all the time. That's the only way we communicate. We don't send text messages, although there is ways to do that, but that's for like operations wise. Airlines do that. Yeah, it's all talking, but yeah, it's training on the job. And if the trainee does something wrong or messes up or freezes or doesn't know what to do, that's when the trainer overkeys and saves the day. You could say, because that's what we're trained to do.
So that
And-
sounds more like it's not a physical. It's not as of a physical job as it is a mental job.
It's
it
not.
seems like.
It's not.
Yeah,
physical.
it's
The only
all
physical
meant-
part
yeah.
is going upstairs.
So you have to have a good.
There's probably an
To be
elevator
honest.
for that.
Well, yeah, to the 17th floor. Then you got a flight of stairs that you got to make.
So that sounds just like your head has to be on your shoulders in order
Oh,
to
yeah.
do the job.
That's why it's so stressful. It's,
Yeah.
it's a lot of it's a mental drain. That's
Because you
why,
were saying that before. You were saying before that you have to make decisions on the spot sometimes, or make quick calculations, and
Yeah.
like
You have
You-
to. Yeah.
you have to make the right. I mean, you have to make. Sometimes you have to make a choice, right?
But you have to be quick at it and not
Yeah,
ponder
and
it.
not ponder
But then
too
the
long.
training comes into it where you've been trained over and over and you get experience over the time and you learn from other things that you see and you kind of know how to react instantly.
Yeah. Well, experience.
And then
you
there's
gain
procedures-
knowledge and experience as you move on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And then there's procedures that we have. I mean, as busy as we are with, I don't know if you've been to the city at night, but you could see the stream of 3 lines of lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
that's all. The controllers that work in the radar rooms out in Elgin, they line those planes up to the runway for us 20, 30 miles out. You could see 6, 7 airplanes in a single file line coming
Yeah,
to us.
yeah, I can see them here sometimes.
They call us about 5
Because
miles out.
Midway.
Midway
so
does the same thing.
Midway has. I don't know what Midway has here, but sometimes like I don't even hear the planes really because they're still kind of high.
Yeah.
I can vaguely hear them,
But you see
but
'em.
sometimes I see like 6, 7, 8 coming from this side and then turning towards the airport. or I see sometimes coming out just straight from here and just straight down.
That's the job of the radar controllers. That's not what I do, but that's the guys
Yeah.
that sit in the radar rooms.
Yeah.
It's called sequencing. You pretty much put everybody in line, give them the minimum separation. So we have standards where planes can't get too close. That's why there isn't that many accidents.
I mean, there was this one that happened, 2 weeks ago, I think, at the airport, 3 weeks ago, where the fucking guy was taking the airplane, then he like clipped one of the wings with another wing. It seems like
The wing clipping, it's like running into a car in the parking lot and scraping the
Yeah.
bumper, I guess. It's,
except when you take off and then you have a hole in the
well,
fucking
that
thing.
usually
Usually they don't take off.
usually those things happen before the runway when
Yeah.
planes are getting around gates, getting out of gates.
Because let's say, do you know anything about that crash that happened between the helicopter and the plane in what was that Newark
Uh,
or JFK?
no,
That was in New York.
DCA.
DC.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
DC,
isn't that
DC?
DC?
DC. My bad.
DCA, yeah.
And did you look at that at all? Did you hear anything about that at all?
I mean, yeah, we all looked into it. In my opinion, the controller did the right thing. He followed the procedures. The other thing that was a part of that was the work saturation. So I think from what I've heard,
What does that mean?
they were short-staffed and they were closing up for the night or reducing staffing because shifts ended or whatever. But the volume of airplanes was still there. So it's normal. We do it at 2. You combine positions. So if
Yeah.
you got 2 people working 2 runways, all of a sudden one person works both runways or, ground control, whatever. So you get more workload that you got to worry about. And I think that was part of the thing where he was working more airplanes and more airspace than
Usual.
previous. No, it's
Okay,
probably a
yeah.
normal. It's a data thing. It's just
It's just
that
at the time.
it was congested. Yeah, he had a lot of workload, and he did the right thing. The helicopter pilot acknowledged that we have the traffic in sight, and they said we'll pass behind. So we, as controllers, we don't fly the plane.
Yeah.
We give instructions. We follow procedures. We have our standard separation minimums, but there's such a thing as visual flight rules, where you can break the separation standards based on either tower applied separation visually. If I could see both airplanes and I see that they're not gonna hit, it's illegal. Same thing with pilots. If we ask the pilots, "Do you see that plane?" Yes. Can you, not crash into him?
Yeah.
Obviously, no pilot's gonna be like, "Yeah,
yeah. I'm gonna do it purpose.
right."
Yeah.
So that's all legal. Everything was fine, but I mean, it's just
A lot of these also. So
who knows what happened inside the cockpits.
from what I read into it, it seems that the
Tragic accident.
definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
people needlessly died by an accident.
Those people
right?
that were working at the airport also got scarred. I don't know.
For sure they
Yeah.
did. But from what I read into it, says that based on current information that the helicopter was at fault for this. That they were flying too high. They were actually
They did deviate from their assigned
supposed to be flying at 100 feet. And they were
1200 or
flying.
something.
Then they're something like that. They're off by like 100 feet or something like that, which is a pretty big difference if you think about it.
I mean,
100 feet is
That's a couple
enough.
airplanes.
Yeah. So I know that they're saying that more than likely
I think that
the fault
that's where that
was
is.
on the helicopter. Because I mean, realistic, if you're the plane flying and you're flying perfectly as scheduled and as on a trajectory that you're going that you
On your flight path.
usually
Yeah.
your flight path, well then there's not really much that changes unless you have like bad weather or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe some traffic that jams up, then you have to.
But the operation that was going on there with the helicopters flying over the river, and that was normal to them day to day. It's been going on for years and never happened. And it takes that one time where you have an accident where there could be manufacturers like the helicopter pilot might have seen another light and thought that was the airplane and not the one that they were looking at. Someone was saying that they were training and might have had some kind of goggles on or something for
Yeah, I read that too. That
night
supposedly
vision, and that affects.
the person who's flying, I think it was a lady that was flying it, who was at the controls at the time, that she was getting information from her co-pilot, who was I guess training her, instructor or whatever. And she just I don't know if she wasn't. Who knows? I don't know. We won't. I mean, maybe we'll know. Maybe we'll know eventually. I'm sure that information will come
Sooner or
out
later.
sooner or later, right? So
From
we
what I
don't-
know, they kind of limited the flights of helicopters over there to kind of keep it safe, but
I mean,
safer.
after something like that, yeah. But then you have like these random ass small planes just fucking crashing left and right. Which then, if you compare the statistics, actually look it up right now. I'm curious, not curious, but one of the actual facts on it. Yearly airplane accidents in the United States.
So going back to that, I think all this year was happening like January, February, all those accidents, and it was all over the news. It was a hot topic. Everybody was talking about
I think it was
any
blown
little
up,
thing.
Yeah, I think it was blown out of proportion.
It was
for
blown
sure.
out of proportion because it was hot. But at that time, the figures were that same time last year, we were lower this year than last year.
Yeah, I seen that.
So it's just how much it gets put into the.
So there you go. According to
So-
National Transportation Safety Board (NTSB), in 2023 there were approximately 1,200 civil aviation accidents in the U.S. with 197 classified as fatal. In 2024, the numbers were similar with around 1,200 accidents and 179 fatal incidents. These figures encompass all categories of civil aviation, including general aviation, air taxis, and commercial
Yeah, so that's
flights.
the small Cessnas that are
Yeah,
trainers.
the
to
small
big
airplanes, the big
commercial.
airplanes.
Does this include like on the ground accidents?
For sure.
It probably does. Yeah,
For sure it does.
any kind of accident, anything that happens with two planes coming together, I think that gets investigated by the NTSB. All the reports are filed, and it's treated as an accident.
There was a significant incident in January 29th, a mid-air collision over the Potomac River with the American Airlines regional jet and the U.S. Army Black Hawk, resulting in 67 fatalities. 2025 trends and concerns. As of early 2025, the U.S. experienced 19 fatal aviation accidents, leading to 106 deaths. While the total number of accidents was lower compared to the same period in 2024,
Yeah.
the increase in fatalities raised public concern.
Well,
So that makes sense.
because most of the accidents are probably smaller planes or
Well,
business
we
jets with-
seen recently in the last couple of weeks these fucking small
Well,
planes like fucking crashing with like one or two people who get killed
yeah.
in these airplanes, right? I think there was
Yeah.
one that was just in San Diego where the airplane crashed into like 3 houses, like a jet or something.
I saw something about that.
Like, dude, like, and it's just like
I
fucking
think
freak
weather-
accidents. dude.
Weather and if that's the same one, I think I watched the video today. If you're interested in aviation, there's a YouTube channel, VAS Aviation, that posts all the current like events,
Oh yeah.
all
Oh, really?
accidents, and they don't explain them, but they kind of give you the raw transcript of like the ATC talk, the maps, the diagrams.
No shit.
So that kind of gives you a little insight of what we
Well,
see.
I'm gonna be doing more of my work.
But I mean, it's just seen. So they it seems like this year they just blew it out of proportion in terms of like
I think
Oh,
it's media coverage.
It
yeah, 100. Well, we know how the media works, so
Yeah,
that's,
I mean, and
we-
the thing at Midway, if that plane spotter wasn't there and shooting a live video with
they,
that,
yeah,
no one. I mean, people would know about it, but it wouldn't.
but
get,
only a small circle of people would know about it. It wouldn't be blown onto the news.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, like where he was
let's say
landing,
there
and
was
then he had a,
bystanders that are actually taking video or something, and it got leaked out. Yeah, it would make it out. It was a pretty serious incident, but it got so much attention because of that angle the video was shot from the tail
Yeah.
end, and it made it seem. I remember you guys were talking about it here when it happened. Realistically, the video was taken from the back. The Southwest was right at over the runway at the beginning of the runway, and that jet crossed
was
towards the
further
end.
way further down. Yeah,
And I actually watched it myself afterwards at work to see how it would have played out. They would have missed each other because by the time Southwest would have hit the brakes and everything, it wouldn't be tragic. It was an incident.
could have
That's
been.
not
It was
safe.
an incident. Yeah,
It was a pilot's
maybe
fault.
not an accident, but an incident.
Yeah. I mean it's a serious thing to cross an active runway with an airplane.
Yeah.
that's
Well,
about to
yeah,
touch
for
down.
sure.
That's-
Yeah, for sure.
They're hauling at 160, 170 an hour right at there. I don't
At
know.
Midway?
Well, no, any airplane that's commercially
Oh,
landing.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact conversion, but they're doing 140, 150 knots. That's the airspeed.
I think that's like 170 miles
Yeah.
an hour or something like that.
That's their slowest speed on
Yeah.
landing.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I feel like it was just kind of blown out of proportion in terms of just because of the politics of it. You know, the Trump's getting rid of the fucking ATC guys and stuff
put
like that.
everything together.
Yeah, it's
You
like
got a news
yeah,
story.
yeah, you got a news story exactly.
And clicks.
You're trying to just it clicks is the bigger is the bigger thing, right? So
What was that? What was that flight in Toronto? Right.
Oh, that flipped over.
That flipped over. Because that
what
was
the hell were they doing?
because that was well they
But
just,
that was
they
just-
just
that was
they
just
just touched
pilot
nose,
error,
the
I
nose
think.
first, right?
No, not nose first. They slammed the rear gear. And
The
it
rear
collapsed.
gear, yeah, and it collapsed.
Normally when the plane comes in, they're supposed to lift
Yeah.
off the front nose to kind of ease into it,
Yeah, yeah,
not slam into it. They kind of just went boom,
yeah.
and it hit so
I
hard
wonder
that
who was flying that plane.
I
I wonder who was flying that plane.
I
And I
remember.
wonder. Wait, wasn't that the same? Isn't that the company that has all? Nothing as females, but wasn't it a company that has all females or DI hired like pilots and stuff like that? Because that's what I read.
I have no idea. I don't know the
And
stats.
Wouldn't shock me if that was the truth. Yeah, at the end of the day,
Don't
you know
believe
what
everything you read on the internet. Paul.
100%. Quote me on that for
Well,
sure because I say it all the time. I
I-
get fucking blasted all the time for
I
it.
remember King was freaking out because that was like a couple days after we went to Canada, and some of us were thinking about flying.
Oh,
and I
was already at that point where the planes kept fucking falling. That's kind of like fuck this. I ain't flying, dude. I don't.
we
trust
were
it for
going to
nothing.
Toronto.
Yeah.
We were going for our uncle's funeral,
Yeah.
and my sister wanted to fly. And then I think it was the day we coming back, right?
Yeah, it was the next
It
day.
was like
Yeah,
the day
yeah,
after
yeah.
we were coming back,
That would have been.
and it was like, man, you know.
I'm like, what if that was you on a flight?
Watching that thing happen, it's crazy how everyone just walked out with cuts and bruises.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it turned over and
it
everything,
flipped
right?
Yeah,
over,
it
the
flipped
engine
over,
tore
yeah.
off, the wing tore. The engine, I don't know if it tore off, but I mean, you
The
got
engine
that
tore
flame
off,
of,
I think.
you got the flame of fire. I think the cold temperature, maybe, I don't know if that works, but kind of saved it.
Yeah,
The what?
it's possible.
The cold temps.
'Cause it was
Oh.
very cold that
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It was.
I don't know how flammable jet fuel is.
I mean, you would consider it. I mean, when they
I mean,
fucking
you're
when
the
airplane
pilot
crashes,
here.
they blow up pretty well, right? Yeah, you're the guy who should know this shit.
I don't fly on jet fuel.
Yeah. So, but you fly. You also fly, right? Like you just fly privately for
Yeah,
yourself. Right? You get a license and everything, right? So you
Private
can fly.
pilot, single engine.
Have you ever
No.
done a larger plane?
No.
Hey, we
where
should do
I
a
fly? No.
Hey, we should do a podcast on airplane one day, dude, with David. Dude.
We can.
yeah, we might not make it back.
I'm gonna be holding the computer in between my legs. Paul's gonna be holding the device, and we're just gonna be.
look at the beautiful view we got here today.
Yeah.
It actually is a pretty sick view.
I'm sure it is.
Most of my flights.
freaking neighbor next door, he's just like, yo.
Did you go with him?
No, he wants me to come with him once in a while. He's like, you want to go get lunch? I'm like, where? He's like, in fucking Kentucky. I was like, what? What?
Or
And he's
from
like,
here,
we'll fly there.
you guys can come to Schaumburg, Pilot Pete's.
Oh yeah. Oh
$100.
yeah. He was talking about that before. I think he.
See, for me, I fly out of there, so it's like, where do I go? There's a bunch of airports that have restaurants.
Yeah.
Clow
Oh, really?
in Bolingbrook.
Yeah, oh,
has
yeah.
yeah. There's one
But
in
he wants to fly. He
Janesville.
flies out to I think he flies out to Janesville. A lot.
Janesville has a diner,
Yeah.
for breakfast.
Yeah.
But do you just pull up in a Cessna and
Yeah, and you go to breakfast.
Yeah, you park in front of the restaurant. Those are aviation diners at the airport. That's the
Isn't
whole
that
purpose.
awesome?
That's sick.
Brian's like, you want to come with me? Or
That's why
do
they
a
call them
lunch?
$100 burgers. The burger doesn't cost $100, but the
The
money,
damn fuel does.
Yeah, what you pay to get there
Yeah.
to have a burger.
I think he flew. I'm pretty sure he flew all the way to Arizona.
Yeah. What's the range on a Cessna?
The ones I play, the ones I fly, the Cessna, the Cessna 172, 5 hours. I mean, that thing's only doing like 110, 120 knots. If you get good tailwind, you'll be doing faster. But yeah, 5 hours is the
So
fuel.
you definitely, if you want to go
It's
fly
like
to Arizona, you're gonna have to
8
land at least
gallons.
once.
8 gallons an hour is what it burns.
Yeah.
At a
Damn,
normal,
that's pretty.
at about $6-7 an
Can't
hour.
say
A gallon.
How much?
8
8
gallons,
gallons an
a year.
hour. An hour.
Oh, I fucking said a year.
I heard 8 gallons a mile. My holy shit.
That's very inefficient.
It's miles per miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Smiles per
8
gallon.
miles or 8 gallons per
Per
hour.
hour.
I
So
guess that's not
tanks are like 36
Yeah.
gallons or 32, depending on the type, and yeah, about 5 hours.
And that's not like a Cessna. That's not jet fuel. You said it's just
No, it's 100 octane low lead.
That's
It's a different.
still $180 for a tank, right? $200 for a tank.
Yeah, but if you own a plane, you pay for the fuel. Like when I rent,
how much is the
second-
fuel?
$6-7 a gallon. I think. That's been going up. When I started flying, it was like $4 a gallon.
But yeah, Brian was like, "Hey, let's get on a plane and let's go get some lunch."
Right.
I'm like, "Where the fuck are we flying to?" He's like, "We could take a plane there." I'm like, "Where are we going, dude?"
I remember you told me, you're like, hey, if you ever want to do like a
Downtown flight.
Yeah, downtown
That's-
flight. He's like, just call me.
That's most of my flights. Yeah,
I would
got
100%
people-
want to do it. I'll take Michelle and go, but I don't know if Michelle would want to go.
I had people asking me like, "Hey, can I do an engagement with you?" I'm like, "Sorry, I think at that time I wasn't either flying or I was out of the country." So I hooked them up with one of my friends. They proposed
That's
on an
awesome.
airplane. Yeah, right
Maybe
in front of
I'll-
downtown.
Maybe I'll be reaching out. Who knows? Oh, I'm not gonna hear the end of this now.
I'm
I said
doing-
it.
I'm
I said
doing
it.
one-
It's too late now.
I'm doing one next week for a birthday for a friend.
Oh, yeah?
Taking out her boyfriend. So as long as the weather's good, it's a pretty sick view.
Can you grab one of those skydiving ones
You want to skydive?
again? Yeah.
Listen, if
I've
I
done
ever,
it. Is it cool?
Yeah, I loved it.
It was just so quick.
It was.
I want to go do it again.
It's quick, but it is
Yeah.
such an experience.
God,
My
I want
cousin-
You think-
I want
Paul,
to do
you
it so
think-
bad, but I don't want to
you
do
think
it.
driving at 170? Imagine falling at like.
It's kind of the same thing.
Have you ever done the iFly, those tunnels?
No.
So I just did this in Poland a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I got a gift from my friends, and that was pretty realistic as far as skydiving. You just don't get that rush of air, but
Yeah.
I think it was showing.
I mean, you also see the floor.
yeah,
like,
and
right
you're not
there.
going high, but the fan was showing 200 kilometers an hour. That's how fast the wind was pushed up.
That's what is
against
that
you.
about 160, 170 miles an hour? Yeah, something like that. Something like the fast GTR.
Yeah, but that moment that you jump out of the airplane is
Dude, it is like you're
trying to
can't-
gasp for
you-
air?
Yeah, you can't scream, you can't do anything because like so much air is coming in your mouth that you can't go out. Like it was yeah, the guy I remember the time I went, the guy let me he let me check the
gear and everything.
the gear.
the barometer.
Oh yeah, the barometer, like your height,
Oh,
and he let me pull.
Did he let you fly at the end? Because you're just kind of controlling
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
airplane,
yeah,
just
yeah.
turning left and right.
The only thing that sucks about it is when you pull the parachute. And
Oh, it
your
yanks
nuts
you.
get.
They compress.
Yeah.
but I always wanted to do it, but I don't know. I just never got around to do it. Maybe I will.
I would do it again. I would do it
I
again.
think it's you got to do some. You got to do it spontaneously.
my
If you're
my my.
I got it for
only-
a birthday gift.
Yeah.
My only thought is that if I'm getting a small plane, like if I'm flying with you, I gotta buy a parachute first, bro. That's it. I don't trust this shit for
Or a
nothing.
barf bag.
Or not a barf bag. I'm okay with that.
Dude,
Can do a barrel roll?
Yeah.
I can do whatever, right? A barrel roll, one of those small planes, though. Well, I guess you're
you
strapped
can-
in, right?
well, the one I do, you can't do it. It's not structurally meant for it. But there's
Oh, there's
special.
I want to watch
planes.
the new Mark Wahlberg movie. When he's on a plane and like
Is it like
he's-
snakes on a plane?
he's like the pilot escorting somebody, and then he ends up being like
The pilot.
a hitman or something like that.
Oh.
I don't know.
Actually, I was in one of those aerobatic airplanes. There was a flight school in Aurora when I was working there, and they hooked us up.
Blue Angels.
No,
That'd be
close.
sick.
That thing was fast, but yeah, it's a two-seater like an old school, and it's all aerobatics. And they took us out in the cornfield over the cornfields, and it was like a straight up pitch, and then just a nosedive. You let the plane just break
Yeah.
over, lose lift. Then there was a barrel roll, and then I think a reverse loop. I think.
Did you pass out at all?
No,
He became an
And
astronaut.
NASA
like
hasn't called me.
like what's her name?
But I think we
Katy
pulled
Perry.
yeah, that's just. We pulled over 5Gs.
No shit.
Yeah, you feel the pressure. It's
Yeah,
like,
you can definitely
it's
feel it
sinking you in, but
For sure, yeah.
that was a cool
Dude,
experience.
I think-
speaking of like 5Gs, I was watching.
Like the cell phone cover?
no, I was watching. There was a video where it was like Kimi Antonelli, the F1 racer,
Mhm.
and it was him when he was like 4 years ago or something, and he was wearing a necklace, right? And it was like kind of like this, like a little bit looser, like a little bit tighter, and then it was a recent one, and it's the same necklace, and it's like this. Because his neck got so big.
No way.
Because they do neck training constantly.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And his
Because they
neck,
got true
his
G-forces
neck was
going.
so fucking thick that like the necklace was tighter on his
About
neck.
to break off.
That's crazy.
Pretty cool.
But when I was jumping into that plane, the first thing to do is put a parachute on you. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna get serious.
It's as serious as it
Good
gets.
thing I already had experience once, so I don't know what to do.
I don't know, man. I just like I said. Now I feel like if I'm getting on a plane, I'm taking a parachute with me, dude.
I think
Nah.
the most like nerve-wracking part of skydiving is jumping out of the plane.
Yeah, getting to that edge and they just like, let's
yeah.
go. They
Yeah,
pull
yeah.
you out.
You literally sit on the edge and then you just have to
and then
push yourself off.
Stand out to one foot,
Yeah.
holding
Hey.
on.
Marcin, you got a nice shirt, dude. Where'd you get that shirt from? 060, dude. That's the giveaway place where they give where you can win a car. I tried.
Apparently you didn't win.
Nope. I got this shirt as a gift, dude. I'm gonna get one of these one day.
My coworker always like, dude, look at this. But he only does like they're like S2000s, right, or something like that. Like they're not like the high end crazy ones. And he's like, I'm like, yeah, well, what's available? A lanyard
Oh.
or a digital photo.
Yeah, but sometimes the smallest purchase can get you a win, bro.
Yeah,
You
but
just
what am I gonna do with a digital photo? Like a lanyard's one thing,
Hang it
right?
up.
NFT.
No,
turn it
it's
to NFT.
digital.
Oh, well, print it.
It's a downloadable file. I'm like, I could just take a screenshot.
Yeah, man. So the flying is cool. I mean, the one scary accident that also happened just recently. It doesn't really have anything to do with planes, but more helicopters. Was that one in New York?
That's what I was about
That
to
was
say.
a fucking scary one.
You're afraid if you're afraid of getting on a plane. One of my professors in at Lewis told me that he'll never get on a helicopter because your life depends on one nut or bolt that's
Yeah,
holding
the one
rotor.
that holds the rotor.
And
in
I've kind
place.
of been living by that, where I have never been on a helicopter, and there's been quite a few examples of that already.
I think
Because
the,
if a plane, the engine breaks, whatever, you're then it's
You're
a
still
glider. It's a
glider,
glider,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
you
find
still
some
have a
flat surface.
chance,
There's
yeah.
a better chance than a. Technically, a helicopter has it's called auto rotate, I think, where if the engine dies, they reverse the propellers and they kind of controlled drop to the ground,
okay.
Mm.
where it doesn't just fall out like a rock. They
Yeah.
control the descent, but yeah, what if the propellers go?
Yeah, that was crazy. I think that was. They were saying that the
Because that was
The
that
tail broke off.
Siemens exec.
yeah.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory. Who knows, bro? Who knows? Maybe he knew something.
Yeah.
But
I haven't heard anything.
according to the overall general report, I think it said that
Tail broke off.
That the tail broke off. That the guy, the pilot that was flying the airplane or the helicopter was kind of flying in an unsafe manner, basically like maneuvering with it like that, and structurally it just
could
failed.
Pull the
And
right
that-
amount of G's.
And that the tail basically broke off, and when it broke off, it hit the rotor, and when it hit the rotor, it sheared off the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
The thing just dropped like a rock into the water. It was crazy. I mean,
what happened? I mean, same thing. Kobe.
how do you? Well,
Well,
he died in a helicopter accident
Yeah,
too,
but that helicopter
that was-
flew into bad weather,
Yeah.
low ceilings,
Yeah.
fog,
Oh, really?
and that's more
there was
pilot.
a lot of
That's pilot error.
there was a lot of pilot error in that one for sure.
That's like me taking the Skyhawk when it's foggy and just going straight to downtown. I end up in Sears Tower or something. I mean, literally.
Hey,
I mean-
whoa.
Yeah, right, not literally, but
Yeah. Yo, you're gonna get classified as something else for that. Yeah, starts with a T.
I'm gonna get a call. Hey, we need the contact information of the
The person who was on your
Person you
podcast
had-
last week.
I don't know if you guys remember, there was an airport in downtown where
Megas Field.
Meigs Field.
Yeah, Megas Field.
Meigs Field.
Yeah.
I wish that thing was still open. The reason why they closed it is
Yeah,
because
why did they close it?
because
just read up on it not
they,
long
trying to
ago.
tell you.
after 9/11 they're saying it's a threat that people can too close to skyscrapers in a big city.
Yeah. Is that why they closed that?
That's
that was-
that's the
Unofficial.
yeah.
More
Sure.
official or
Official, whatever. That's right by planetarium.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah, the planes
right,
took
that
off
island,
over the planetarium when they took off.
that northerly island that they haven't finished yet. I guess it's like a pond and some
Yeah.
grass.
Mm-hmm.
The terminal, the terminal building and the tower is still there. I was there a couple of years ago.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's still there.
I just turned it back
Man,
into the
next time I
airport.
go downtown, I gotta look at this.
Yeah, I never
So if
realized
you drive
it.
down that strip towards the planetarium,
And you
it's
go
on
it's
your-
on the right.
I think there was a concert stage now. They do concerts over there.
Oh, I've been there for a concert.
Yeah.
Oh,
so past that
it's
concert,
a pier now. Like isn't there a pier around
I
there?
think so. I
Well-
think so.
I went to a Logic concert there with Kevin.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think they use it for concerts now.
Yeah.
well,
yeah.
that's just like 5%
I
of the whole
remember that.
thing. That's a
I
small
remember
portion
yeah,
because that thing stretches out.
Yeah. I remember the airport when it was still active.
Yeah.
Because I think we went downtown back in the day when we were young kids, and I seen the airplanes kept flying in and out of there. And we were actually at the planetarium one time, a very long time ago.
They would go right off the runway directly above.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
when I ran into a dumpster?
What?
Is that when I ran into face first into a dumpster?
I don't know what the hell you were doing then, but who knows?
I was sprinting, turned around, look at somebody, turned
Noticed-
back around, and black.
Notice dumpster.
Didn't even notice the dumpster. I just noticed when I
Noticed you.
came to. When I came to.
So yeah, that was a cool. So in the simulators, you could that
that's-
was one of the places where you usually started.
You'd start up. Yep.
Yeah, that's why I remember the name of it, and that's why I was like, I know that name of the field because I was in the flight simulator on a bunch of times.
So like
But-
I always was saying, like, man, it would be so cool to take off, go downtown, land, go
Fuck
to the
yeah,
city,
dude!
have dinner. or
If they had like a
something.
restaurant there, dude.
Yeah,
They would.
not
for
even there.
sure.
You just take an Uber.
100%.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, and
But yeah.
definitely, you definitely got an interesting job though because it's a lot.
It's
mentally,
it's a rare job, I guess. There's not.
Yeah.
There's only 10,000 of us in the country.
Yeah, for
Apparently
sure.
not enough.
Not enough.
So anybody,
I would-
that's,
I would like
anybody,
to have-
that's, anybody that's younger,
Yeah, go jump on a job. It's a good. I mean, it pays well. I'm sure you have
Pay
good
is really
benefits.
good.
Can you-
the
can
pay
you-
is the pay is dependent on where you work.
Can you
Yeah.
can you get into it right out of high school?
Yeah, you can be 18, I think.
Yeah.
18 but then you need some kind of work experience, I guess.
No.
You to hit the minimum
McDonald's?
requirements.
Well, I mean,
Technically, if you worked since 16, probably apply by 19.
but yeah, because like for example, I was working at a job since I was 15, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I was working illegally at 12, dude.
Yeah, I mean, weren't we all?
We're a different story.
Do you know how you can tell if you can be an air traffic controller if you've ever held a flashlight for your dad? That's enough mental stress. Then.
Yeah, dude. Shine it right here. Yeah, I remember that too, dude. Sometimes when she's like, "Where the hell are you shining the light?" I'm like, "Dude, where you're working, bro." What?
Yeah, or if you're sweeping
I
wrong.
can't see anything.
Or if you're sweeping wrong.
I remember those days, man. We had some hard jobs back in the day. When
Yeah,
dad,
we were
when-
6.
When we were young, we were like young kids. Like I was like maybe 10, and I started going with my dad to his shop.
Yeah.
Nothing like I didn't like a woodworking shop, so we
Yeah.
didn't. You know my dad.
Yeah.
So nothing like crazy that we were working on.
Clean
Right?
up.
Guy's
carrying
not
stuff.
putting a wood through a planer at 10 years
Yeah, exactly.
old.
I'm not doing that kind of shit. We get paid a couple dollars just to go in there, sweep.
Yeah.
Get the fucking dust out, not
Yeah.
dust, but the like shavings out and stuff like that. So we used to do that, dude. my dad sometimes would be on our ass,
Mhm,
make sure that it's
mhm,
fucking like.
mhm.
Sometimes the shop was fucking spotless, and it
Yeah.
was a woodworking shop that was constantly.
You made you
moving.
work for
And
those
then
few
you,
bucks.
you know what's crazy?
Hell
yeah,
yeah, we did.
yeah. You know what's crazy?
But you know what that teaches you? That teaches you a lot of just
It carries on.
ethics,
Yeah.
right?
I could say this. Yeah, that's how I feel compared to some people maybe I work with or no.
Yeah, 100%.
I grew up on a farm and we had a rose plantation too. That was a lot of work.
Yeah,
all
for
summer
sure.
long.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's just
And it was
different people come from different aspects of life, and some aspects of life
It's the stuff that you learn when you're younger.
teach you how to become the next person in your life further down the road.
Yeah.
Right? They give you examples. They teach you some ethics. They teach you some skills. They
Sometimes
teach you
work
stuff.
ethic goes a long way.
Fuck yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's what I'm
For
saying.
a lot
It's
of things. What were you saying? What?
I don't know.
Well, I kind of over talked over you. You were trying to say something.
Cleaning the shop, I guess.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
like, nothing will beat when you clean the shop perfectly and Dad just turns on a machine. And just
Blows it everywhere.
Fucking
everything.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, we gotta do it again. But guess what?
Yeah.
We're getting paid, so it is what it is. You know.
Yeah.
Breaks
yeah.
over.
Yeah. No,
I just remember when he would like go to the bathroom and then he would get that stupid ass mask out and he'd be like, you'd be like sweeping and he'd be around the corner just like this.
what kind of mask was it?
It was like a werewolf mask or something, dude.
My dad
And
would
Full
fuck with
face
us.
mask.
And he would just be around the corner. And he'd wait, and he would wait for you to look,
Yeah.
and then the second you saw him, he'd straight sprint at you.
Yeah, he fucked with us there for sure. But that was the first time. So that was at his work. Man, that was late 90s, early 2000s.
It's early 2000s for sure.
And that was the first time I ever played a computer game.
Because
in
it was
the office.
Yep.
Because the
He had
guy who
Was it
owned
Doom 3?
Didn't he have the
Doom
hunting
1,
game?
dude.
Doom
The
1.
first
Oh,
Doom,
Doom.
bro. Doom.
Didn't
The
he have a
first
hunting
Doom.
game too?
He did have a hunting game, but it was, yeah, but that was later.
Yeah.
Because we were there in the shop for like 2 or 3
Doom
years.
just dropped another game.
Huh?
Doom just came out with another game.
Somebody made the Doom game in Bitcoin ordinals, dude.
And what?
Bitcoin ordinals?
Uh-huh.
It's like a type of coin or whatever.
Yeah.
But they basically program Doom into the fucking coin. It's crazy shit. Anyway,
Wait, so if you play, you
it's like the
Don't tell
game
me-
in
don't-
numbers.
don't, I was gonna say,
Like
don't
Matrix.
tell me that if you play the game that you can get some coins. 'cause-
No, I don't know.
You win
I don't know.
coins.
Yeah, dude.
But that was the first time. That was the first time I sat on a computer that was actually like a
A PC?
PC, and I played Doom for the first time. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this, bro?
Yep. I remember.
I'm
that
like,
too.
this is cool as hell, though. I'm like, the most shittiest graphics ever. You
Of
know,
course.
you have floppy disk that you're playing Doom
Yeah.
on, bro. Floppy disk.
And it was a work computer?
And it's,
Or at work?
It was at work. It was at my dad's shop, which he worked for a guy who had kids.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes the boss would watch the kids at the shop, so he bought him a computer basically.
Basically the same thing as
Yeah,
my dad
they-
was
like,
doing with us.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
We kind of did the same thing, except I feel like we put in a lot more effort.
I
So
seen
they had a
him
compu-
recently, by the way.
I think it was, what was they? Charlie and there was Charlie and one other one. I don't remember what, but it really doesn't matter. Yeah, dude, he bought a computer for them, and they had the Doom was on there. And then when we were at we were there on Saturdays usually,
Mhm.
and when we were done cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
we would go in there and we'd fucking play Doom for a while. My dad was out doing who the fuck knows what he was doing. We were still working or hanging out with the buddies or some shit, you
Yeah.
know, or shooting the bow in the back.
Yeah.
We were going back to
He
the
did
shop
that
and just
all
fucking
the
shooting the bow
time, dude.
all the time.
Do you have a target?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had like a whole thing set up. The
Oh,
whole
okay.
shop was like hunters,
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
And bow
yep,
hunters.
yep.
so they had a whole thing set up behind
Does
the
he still do
shop. Oh yeah, he still does, but he doesn't do it often enough anymore. And he's like, I'm getting old. This bow's too heavy for him.
Yeah.
It was a heavy compound mode,
Really?
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so I'm thinking about buying off him actually because I don't even know I don't do shit with bows. I don't even know how to use them really.
No,
But I figure it out.
You can
Yeah.
you can find stuff too.
Oh, 100%. But I got a fucking yard big enough to shoot, so I can
just,
shoot.
Hey, don't miss the
I'll go
arrow,
talk to
or
my
you're gonna go
neighbors.
into the
I'll go
forest.
talk to my neighbor Sam right now and be like, yo, let me go sit on your stand. We were just driving around last week and he'll show me all the stands around his property.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, across the street, he's got
He's got that much land?
6 acres.
Wow.
So he's got a stand in the middle of his property, like on a tree line,
Yeah.
and then he's got power lines that run behind him. So he's got one back there. So he can sit wherever. And he was just showing me pictures of this big
you
ass
need-
buck that came through.
Do you need
Just recently.
tags if it's on your own property?
No, I don't think so. Don't quote me. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure you can hunt your own property whenever.
But it's gotta be a
I have
buck.
no idea.
I'm pretty sure it has to be a buck though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was showing me that. So he's like, and he bow hunts. He's a bow hunter. A lot of these guys. Bow hunting, I heard, is fun. I mean, I shot a bow and arrow before.
Mhm.
I've shot it. I don't know where the fucking arrow went, but
It takes some
I was
But I
gonna
tried
say,
it.
if you're practicing back there, just watch out because if you miss, you're going to the forest.
well,
looking
yeah.
for it.
So if you want to start doing that kind of stuff, you want to practice. You do
Yeah.
up close first. Figure out the the details,
Yep.
and then go from there, right? But I can literally build like a like a soil
Yeah.
wall, and then put like, a target. And
You already
just-
got a soil wall right there.
I do. I mean, I got a lot of shit already back here. I can shoot over.
You got the
fucking-
equipment. You can do whatever.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, so he was bow hunting. They were like practicing in the back of the shop and shit. So those are good days. We learned a lot. Now that I think about it, that was the first like job that we ever
It's
did.
manual
that was
labor,
just-
dude. Yeah.
that we just got like paid like chump change for,
Yeah.
but whatever. We got some money.
Or
out of
we'd
it.
go to a Wolves game after or something.
Yeah, or something because
As a
they had
treat.
wolf tickets. Yeah, that was fun. And then from there, like I got my next job after that was working with my neighbor, pressure washing trucks
Yeah.
with Dave. Dude, I got paid.
Oh,
I
nice.
was 13 or 14 when I started going with him. I
Like
did
a
that for a
summer
couple
job?
of years. No, throughout the year.
Oh, okay.
It was just like on the weekends most of the time. I was getting paid like fucking like $20 an hour, bro.
Damn.
At like fucking 13 or 14 years old.
Pressure washing semis?
Yeah, we just basically I would go pressure wash
Yeah.
and he would go behind
Yeah.
with the broom
Meanwhile,
and then switch positions or whatever and continue on. So that was a gig for a couple of years that we did. And I appreciate Dave for giving me the opportunity to make that money because that was cool. And then I learned a new skill and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
but then that died off later. So that was that. What were you saying?
I was gonna say. Meanwhile, my first job, $7.50 an hour.
At the liquor store?
Yeah, the liquor store.
remember
You know,
picking you up.
I was there not too long ago, right? Because we had
Still
that
going?
we had that event. There's no stock boys anymore.
No?
Well, minimum wage is $15,
So who's
$16.
putting
right?
it all out?
The cashiers.
Wow.
Renee.
She still works there though, so she loves her job.
She's
She's never gonna leave that job.
no. Yeah. Well, I don't think she feels like. Well, it's a block away from her house, and I just don't think she wants to do anything else, right?
I mean, what else you can do, bro? You've been looking at the
Yeah.
liquor store for like 20 years or
Just
not more.
Yeah.
Work till
Well,
the
I
end?
think she just did it. They just did it for some extra spending money. I guess Dennis probably made enough money where
Yeah.
they were comfortable, and she just did it for extra spending money and like.
And her free drinks that she gets when she's there.
Well, now they have slot
Listen,
machines in there. Now they have slot machines in
even better. Every time I walk in there, like, hey, Renee, hey.
there. Yeah, dude. Always red. It's always
Eyes
red,
are
bro.
Red, I'm like, yo,
Just
all
like
right.
Stan. Just like Stan.
Stan,
dude.
same thing. Stan. Hey, Stan, what's up? What's up, man? Fucking the eyes are all
I-
red and
to
shit. And I'm like,
to
this
day,
guy, bro.
To this day.
I mean, if I owned a liquor store, I'd probably do the same
yeah,
way.
Right.
dude.
to this day, me and Peter still think like whenever he was in his office, the days we were working, he was getting high as fuck for sure.
Yeah.
Because you could like kind of smell it, and we were like, maybe not. But he come out, eyes bloodshot, bro. Like it's like.
The alcohol wasn't
And
cutting
then he comes and he's like, "Hey, you want some chugs?"
We hungry.
He's like, it's the same thing every time. Hey, you want some chugs? I buy, you fly. Every time.
That's fucking funny.
That was when Chuck's was across the street, though.
Yeah. And then it burned down.
Then it burned down.
Yeah.
Magic.
On purpose? Maybe.
Mm.
Maybe. But then they got a new
Mm.
location that's much bigger. So maybe that was all part of the plan. You never know.
Just
Chuck's
like,
had good food.
just like that.
Haven't been there in a long
what,
ass
what
time.
was that deli in Harlem? The Allwood one.
Oh, Wood Deli.
Mm-hmm. It was on like 80 something in Harlem.
Wasn't that Dunay's?
Donuts, yeah.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
That burned down.
That burned down too?
That burned down too?
But I heard that was a kitchen accident, literally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're gonna start going down that path, there's a lot of places that are like. I
Camelot.
was just about to say that went up. That went up in flames too. But I also heard kitchen accident. But who knows? I
So I
can't
used
say.
to work there, right? And I actually asked them about it one time. And so because I remember I was bartending once.
Disclaimer: we can't say for sure.
Yeah. There's so
Opinion.
I remember I was working one party, whatever, and I was having a cigarette outside with one of the owners.
Damn, you started the fire, didn't you?
No, this was after remodel. And she just comes out. She's like chain smoking. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, dude, this day every year something happens. She's like, 1 year the place burned down. Next year, a pot of oil like poured on my mom.
Damn.
Because she worked in the kitchen. She's like, every year something happens. And so she's literally just like chain smoking because she's like nervous about something happening, So, maybe just that day. Who knows?
Maybe not. Who knows?
Shotgun
Appreciate
burned
you coming
down.
out here, man. It was fun.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
We'll have you again in the future sometime. Hopefully, you're gonna be in. I don't know. Well, I don't know what the next level after your current position.
I
Is
think
there
I'll-
anything next?
I could be a manager.
Manager of
Move up to
what?
management.
Oh yeah,
Just be a supervisor or manager. Yeah, there's more positions, but I think I'm staying at O'Hare.
yeah,
I wanted to be home.
yeah. I mean, it's close to
Chicago.
home, so why the hell would you go anywhere else,
I
right?
mean, I could transfer. Theoretically, I could go work wherever I want.
Unless
Especially
you want to
now-
move,
matter of
unless you
time.
want to move on Illinois, then maybe
Yeah, I could go to Texas. I could go wherever I
Ooh.
want. It's just a matter of time.
Hey, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any airplanes in Tennessee.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there
I know
is.
there's a bunch of FedEx.
FedEx.
I know there's a bunch of FedEx. Oh yeah, FedEx. Memphis is a hub for
I
FedEx,
flew
right?
through there. That thing is crazy. That operation.
Yeah,
Because we
yeah,
were
but
able
Memphis
to.
is a shitty place to live, so I wouldn't want to go there.
One of our
Where?
benefits was to
Memphis.
fly on an airplane in the cockpit as part of cross training.
Oh yeah.
So I got to jump on a FedEx from Huntington, West Virginia, and come to Chicago overnight
Damn, bro. I'm
through
glad.
Memphis.
I'm glad you didn't end up like fucking Tom Hanks in that fucking FedEx flight, dude.
What happened?
What was that one movie where he was stuck on the island for fucking ever
Oh,
with Wilson, the fucking volleyball? Castaway. He was on a
gonna
FedEx
say-
flight.
I was thinking more of like, I'm like, oh damn, this guy's from Catch Me If You Can.
oh yeah.
Oh, that was a good movie. That was a
Yeah,
good movie.
yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
a good movie. With Leonardo DiCaprio.
What's the other one that recently came out? Where they, who's the actor? Oh, it's Gerard Butler. Where he was on a plane, they took off from like Japan or something, and then I guess something happened with the engine or something. They crash landed in like, like a Pacific island or something.
Oh yeah, it was like controlled by warlords or something like that.
Mhm,
That was an
mhm.
older movie, I think. It was a couple
No.
of years out, maybe.
No, came out this year.
Oh, then I didn't watch it.
Because
yet.
we watched it. I watched like a month ago.
Oh, I think I seen the preview
Yeah.
for it, but I didn't watch
It's
it.
pretty good. It's pretty good.
Well, we'll have to give it a watch.
Yep.
Appreciate you coming out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks a
Thank you
lot.
very much for coming. Give us some info and like and subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, and we'll see you at the Cars and Coffee.
That's right.
Hopefully I'll have a day off.
Maybe my GTR will make it
Not,
there.
not a lot of Subies, so you know.
Yeah.
We got some STI parts, but the newer parts.
Do you?
Yeah, not much.
Actually, I was going through the website. I saw it.
Not much. Not much.
Nothing for me.
Newer. Nah, not for you. You're for sure.
Have a good night, guys.
Have a
See
good
ya.
night. Peace. Bye.